Amnesty International declared Israel to be an apartheid regime.
Don't fucking stop me while I'm cooking, you baboon in a suit! The chef is in! About to give you a fucking Chelsea Green, you donkey! Donkey!
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand, perhaps, what I'm trying to imply.
Patronizing.
Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from fucking London about you want to fucking free Palestine, but also simultaneously you're talking about both sides are fucking fine. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, okay? Who the fuck is this pink-haired twink? Dissolve the apartheid
So what would you like to see happen, Hassan?
Do you not understand the English language?
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HasanAbi broadcast coming to you live from Gololumi, California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is Tuesday. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. No workout today. A motherfucker slacking? No, I did work out today. I played basketball today. Anyway, it's Tuesday, September 30th. It is Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. We are about to be in October. You already know. Is this the last stream before you get sent to the gulag? I mean, American prison system, says Cucumber Skin Harvester. No, hopefully not. Anyway, it's partially sunny, but actually kind of cloudy here in California. It's 71 degrees, but we're alive. We got a lot going on in the world, and I hope you guys have a fantastic one, just as I will. This is going to be a shorter day today because I'm actually flying to France. Vive la France. Oui. And of course, as you guys know, when I'm not live, that means things are going to get heated. So just get ready for it. Okay. The Gaza flotilla is actually nearing the Gaza coastline. A government shutdown is imminent, and I will, of course, not be live while all of this is happening, which means that things will be happening, as always. Will you stream from the plane? No, I will not. You going to watch Ludwig race? Yes. I am going to GP Explorer. And because the American government is shutting down, I'm going to be in France, which I actually don't know how that's going to work, because like if the American government shuts down and I'm in France, will I be able to fly back to the United States of America when there's no air traffic control? Who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out, though, won't we? I guess we shall. We will find out where. Maybe I'll become Le Franchi, you know? Le Franchi. Anyway, yes, those are deemed necessary. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what the administration does. Those are deemed necessary and cannot shut down. I know, but there's a slowdown, a crippling slowdown on the TSA and also on the ATC. Partially because the shutdown would make it so that they can't actually bring in new ATC air traffic controllers that are in the process of being hired and stuff like that. So we shall see. Wait. Anyway, what else was I going to say? I forgot. That's it. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news real quick. Nothing really too crazy happening in my world. My mom loves slow horses. I ended the broadcast last night and she immediately dove into slow horses. She just is addicted, and she will just like turn it on and will shamelessly, I'll be like, Mom, I'm not really that invested in this show. Like, cause I keep like tuning in and out. So I don't really know what's happening. I know it seems like it's a very good show, but like, I don't fully comprehend it. Right. And I don't really know, I don't really know exactly what's taking place here. And my mom is like, nope. We're watching this shit. There's nothing you can do about it. Sucks to suck, bucko. Basically, that's her attitude about this thing, which is crazy. But it is what it is, you know? You hella lying to your mom. You had no interest in that show. No, I'm just saying, like, I understand that, like, it's probably not the worst show to watch, especially because it's, like, about psyops and, like, intelligence agencies and stuff like that for MI6. It's cool. Like, it's just anyway, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. Watch The Girlfriend. You watch your girlfriend around me, bucko. Did you see Ty Lopez getting sued by the SEC? No, I did not. Also, what was I gonna say? What is this? Oh, I just saw this. I just wanted to play video games. Now I have to spend all day petitioning the government to arrest Antifa terrorist rioters and getting libtards fired for violent posts. I just wanted to play video games. You should have left my video games alone. I just don't get it. I don't, like, these guys unironically are just whole ass losers, man. They're just losers. And they're just so shameless about being fucking losers. Like, I don't get it. Like, no decency, no class. What the hell? What the heliante, man? Like, you should be ashamed to say that out loud, you know? Anyway. All right, let's blast off real quick. This morning I played ball. I was cooking as always. You already know your boy still got it. I'm getting fatter by the moment, but I'm also at the same time at least sleeping a lot more. I'm getting stronger. And also I'm still cooking on the basketball court. And what else? And by the time I come back from France, I'm going to be total fat. I'm going to be full-blown fat. New HasanAbi Alpha Male Ops. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll look at that in a second. Let me just blast off real quick. Let me blast off. Bro used to have abs and now doesn't even thirst trap anymore. Yeah, because I'm fucking fat, dog. I don't have abs anymore. What do you want me to do? Look at that. 20 years of pausing it. Pause it. Anyway. All right. Ice mania in all cities. Kegs Breath and Trump deliver general speech. Will we go to war in Venezuela? War with Venezuela. Ice mania in all cities. Israel claims flotilla is Hamas. Address the elephant. What's the elephant? You don't schedule gym time when you're travel? No. Logs just for love. What up? It had been 7 months since I'm supporting the magnificent PBS. No regrets. 7 is lucky too. Yeah, lucky number 11. CBS is saying that Hamas is leaning towards the deal. What the fuck does CBS know about Hamas? I'd be shocked. Also, Gaza peace plan leaves little room for Palestinian sovereignty. Let's say dignity. Flying to France later. Get in now. Hi, hit boulangerie Utopie for breakfast in Paris is near Place de la République where all your protests and revolutions happens. Oui. I will love the boulangerie. All right, who has a blast off meme for me? Emger link blast off. That's so stupid. You're so stupid for this. That's the dumbest blast off meme I've seen in quite a while. I'm gonna use it. Hell yeah. Ammon matched your likeness perfectly in his Ethan Klein video. Ammon Animations did a Ethan Klein video. Is that what the elephant is? Is that what you guys are talking about? Your TikTok PR campaign is going well.
Hassan Packer personally bought me a brand new Range Rover and paid me 70 grand to make that video. True. Saying that Elon did not like that Grimes said he was buff. He pays a lot. True. What can I say?
It's true. It's actually true. That's literally how it works. This is how it works. This is how it goes, baby. This is how it goes. Wait. Okay. Toyota RAV4 for your brother and a Range Rover for some random TikToker? Yeah. Well, it's because my brother never does PR for me. I keep telling your haters that you brought me a 4070 Ti Super Last Socialism is a lie. The articles cost 20K, but TikToks cost 70K. Goddamn, you're getting fleas, brother. That's just how it is, man. That's how it is. Yes, Ammon made a Ethan Klein video. We'll watch it later, guys. Like, y'all are nutty. There is this is Maximum News Day, and you got motherfuckers being like, bro, you have to watch this Ammon Animations on Ethan Klein. Like, yeah, I will watch it. I love Ammon Animations, and obviously this one is even more interesting to me, even though all of his animations are interesting to me, because he ends up covering a lot of the political comings and goings, right? Did you blast off? I did. But it's just watch E with a Gaza deal on the table. Yeah, I usually hate drama content, but his videos are so much better than drama. Yeah, I know. Hold on. Keg Breath and Trump deliver general speech. Will we go to war with Venezuela? Ice mania in all cities. Israel claims flotilla is Hamas. Gaza peace plan leaves little room for Palestinian dignity. Flying to France later. Get in now. We got number one stuff. We got a number one news day. Okay, it's a news day Tuesday. You already know what it is. Important update. Bad Bunny or like-alike. Oh yeah, I saw this. Bad Bunny. He looks amazing, and I don't know why people were talking about this like it's a big own or something. Her body is tea. Her body is tea. And y'all are jealous. This is the thing that I find to be so stupid. People will constantly be like, oh, dude, you did drag. It's like, so did everybody in America at some point. Okay. It's like back in the day, I feel like men used to do this and it was not a problem. And then one day people just decided it's actually a really shameful incident. Like we became more insecure. I mean, look, JD Vance did it. I mean, this is obviously a gross version of that. It's not a very good instance of drag, but like, who cares? You know what I mean? Why do you make such a big deal out of this? I don't understand it. I don't. It's just like so much. We have become more insecure as a nation. Okay. And one of my favorite things is like, people will constantly talk about, people will constantly bring this up because like I personally have done it a bunch of times. Like, you know, I did the Cat Girl Cafe shit, right? Like the maid cafe shit. And like, it's ironic because a bunch of like Dick Tone fans and a bunch of Asmongold fans will post that under my replies. And it's like, dog, your daddy also did it. You know what I mean? Like your daddy has done it too. Asmongold has done drag. Rape Tone has done drag. It's just like, what is this? I don't get it. My MAGA 6'6" football lineman dad is in his high school yearbook in drag for a pep rally. He looked really pretty. Yeah, this was, I mean, look at glam bands in the 80s, obviously, like hair metal and shit. Like dudes were hitting the androgyny lines like aggressively back in the day. Only now it's become this like big issue for a lot of people. And it's so funny because it's only an issue if you're like a little worried about your own sexuality. It's only an issue if you're genuinely concerned about your own personal sexual proclivities. Like it's just a reflection of insecurity. When I see someone make a big deal about drag, I very quickly realize like this is a person who's friendly fire. Yeah. Does this look appropriate for little kids on Xbox? PlayStation has allowed Twitch and Discord not be monitored on all platforms and systems. Daily, your children are being radicalized by these goons like Hassan the Hun. Dude, might want to do your homework on this one. It was not for kids, and it wasn't on any platforms you listed except Twitch as a joke. Asmongold is the #1 political streamer, and he's a conservative. Again, I know you're on a quest, but doing your due diligence should be a part of the process. That's so funny. They're like, Asmongold is fighting the same fight we are, bro. Yeah, this guy saw Asmongold and drag and thought it was me, I guess. Yeah, friendly fire. Switch off, sir. This is one of our targets. Bad Bunny is a Super Bowl halftime show. Too bad I won't be watching. Yep, exactly. Anyway, man, you got to delete Twitter off the phone, dog. I mean, truly, I do have to delete it for sure. Yeah, no, I saw this one exactly. Imagine having this as your leader, someone who dresses like a French maid, and then it's just like, you know, like it doesn't make sense. Everyone's done this shit. Found the perfect vid encapsulates how I feel about you.
Give me some wine to put me in a room with Hassan Piker. I don't even need to say anything else.
We saw this already. We saw this on the stream already. I know. It's not just personal insecurity. Trans femininity is also a threat to patriarchy inherently, which is partially why the Christian nationalist movement is so threatened by it. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, there's a couple different avenues here. Gender, and the way that people understand it, is one of the only associations, one of the only cultural signifiers that people have that isn't directly tied back to a commodity, even though it can be reflected in the commodities that you purchase. So a lot of people have this like super strong opinion on the binary, rigid, antiquated understanding of gender, and they think it's like a remnant of their biology, and not simply like something that is not rigid, not binary, even on the physical side, even on the biological side. And it's certainly not that when it comes to gender being a social construct, right? It's anti-intellectualism, and it's fear of the unknown, And it's also just like a fear that people have about the world changing around them in real time in ways that they can't understand. So it is what it is. But I think that for many people, because they have such a strong association with their gender, such strong associations with like who they are as a person is like defined by their gender, and the way that they understand gender as a rigid binary construct, they lose their fucking minds when a person existing in the real world breaks that binary in real time. God forbid, especially if it's someone that they want to fuck. Okay. God forbid, especially if it's someone that they find to be like sexually attractive. Oh my God, they lose their goddamn minds. That's why you see so many people who are transphobic, like outwardly transphobic and insane. They got trans on the brain all the time. Also be chasers like the Alex Jones of the world, like Nick Fuentes, like these people are like that. But it is what it is, you know? For me, it still stems from a crisis of insecurity. If you're insecure about who you are, and you constantly have to like put on this performance, this outward performance, which is ironically exactly what gender is. But if you constantly feel the need to put on this like outward performance of violence because that's how you have decided you can just like tell everybody how masculine you are, then you become a conservative. That's the insecurity at the heart of a lot of reactionary sentiment. That's why a lot of young men find themselves in the throes of reactionary commentary. Are you for the dolls? I'm for everybody. I don't have an issue with anybody. Okay, like that's I've said this day one. Like I'm agnostic to all this shit. As long as I care more about people's output. I care more about like what people do. Okay, I care more about what people do rather than who they are. Like what people choose to do about their in their personal lives is not my business. I don't give a shit. As long as they're not hurting anybody, I don't care. And I don't understand why people make it their business all the goddamn time. It's like annoying. You're nosy and annoying. Fucking deal with your own shit. You know what I mean? That's what this country used to be about. Dealing with your own goddamn shit. You're tearing relationships apart. What is this? Accidentally said Hasan reposted my TikTok in front of my man and his friends. Oh no.
You deserve better. You're rich as fuck. We need to get you a Porsche. No, we need to get you a Lamborghini. We need to get you involved in the community. Get you 1.1 million followers. Do you know the Nelk Boys? Have you ever hung out?
No.
Then you're not friends.
I never said we were friends.
Well, why won't you block him then?
That's so funny. It was Victoria Hammett. I'm reposting this too. This is more common than you might think. I've seen this happen IRL. I mean, this is the perfect boyfriend. Like the type of dude who can make jokes about this. This is once again a boyfriend who is so confident in their relationship that it's like understandably not an issue at all. So much so that they can like literally make jokes about it. Respect. You know, this is exactly the type of boyfriend you must have. Oh, this is the friend. Sorry. This is the boyfriend's friend. Which one's the boyfriend? The one who's on the couch?
Do you know the Nelk Boys?
I mean, he's handsome as hell. I just let you sleep with my girlfriend and I know she's still loyal. Bro, that's crazy. Okay. That's maybe a little too much. Okay. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Okay. Calm down now. My sneaky link crushes on you, but I low-key look like mini you, so I'm not pressed. Okay. Everybody calm down. This is exactly, bro, what we are just talking about right now, what we're talking about right now at this very instance is unironically like 98% of the resentment that young men have towards me, okay? We need to dial it back. Shh, just keep it in the back pocket, okay? I'm not even kidding. Half of the fucking reason why people I've realized like for years and years, I tried to identify where this resentment was coming from. And unfortunately, it's much dumber than you would think. It's not because like these people have well-defined ideological positions and they find me to be a threat to that. In many instances, it's just like, I don't like that he has a lot of nice things. Like, fuck that guy. He must be faking it. He's a grifter. And also stupid, sexy Hasan. Half the time it's stupid, sexy Hasan. Why won't he fuck me? Or the other half of the time it's stupid, sexy Hasan. Why do all the girls like him? That's literally it. Sometimes both. And of course, throw in unlimited illiteracy into the pile, and then you arrive at why people are the way that they are. I found out that my best friend doesn't like you. Turns out it's not your looks or politics, it's your fashion, Lamau. I know a lot of people hate my fashion, but like, I mean, I'm just wearing normal shit. Like, what the fuck is this? What's the problem here? What, can a man not wear a fucking flannel anymore in the middle of fall? What the hell? My fashion has gotten so much better, bro. It's gotten so much better over the years. Give me a break. You live in LA, what fall? Bro, it's cold in here. It's like sub 70. Calm down. The band Dying Wish name dropped you on the Downbeat podcast. They're big fans, it seems. Hell yeah. Where was I? What was I going to show you? Oh, there was also this. I mean, this is a meme. This is a meme account. Richard Stroker is like he's like a meme guy. I'm pretty sure he's not like a real person. We are the Republic, or they routinely make like bait posts like this one. We are the Republicans your parents warned you about. We're smart, irresistible to women, and most importantly, we're total alpha males. We are the future, whether you like it or not. Stay mad. Back me up, Bryn Holland. These liberals are attacking us. This will help propel the college speaking tour too, by the way. Lots of women clearly want a piece of us. It's no, this is bait. He's rage baiting. He always does this shit. I previously thought it was real too. You wear normal shit at home is when you go out that you look stupid. Wait, what? Yeah, his name is Dick Stroker, guys. They want that skinny jean plus flats, Andrew Tate look, Lamau. Yeah, the first two are real Republican guys, though. I mean, this one straight up looks like one of Santa's elves in that fucking in that claymation show. Or he looks like Moral Oral, bro. What the hell? Am I crazy? Did they find this in a lab? What is this? Did they make this in a lab, bro? Did they look at Moral Oral and we're like, we need that. We need that to be the movement guy. Like, look at this. It looks like they're just spitting these out of a fucking laboratory. Moral Oral is a wild pull. They both look like Moral Oral. What the hell, Leonte? What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Demon Twin Alert. Pull up the 22-year-old counterterrorism chief in the Trump admin. Oh my God, that guy is fucking awesome. Perfect reply to that tweet from Busted Open 420. We're smart, irresistible women, and most importantly, we're total alpha males. I mean, this person is rage baiting, for the record. Like, that's the joke. The joke is that they're not, right? Because for those of you who don't know, I think Dick Stroker is like one of those like Groiper adjacent accounts that constantly fucking rage baits. And the Groipers hate these dudes because they're like industry plants. I've been following this stuff on the back end. I haven't really been talking about it that much, but like they think like, I can't even say this motherfucker's name, by the way. What is it? Brylan Hollyhand, okay? But he's like the new industry plant for establishment conservatives to like take over the Charlie Kirk market share. Brylan Hollyhand. Yeah. And they're like, they're really, really trying to make him a big thing. And a lot of like the groiped up shouties hate him because they think like, oh, you're just coming in to take over Charlie Kirk's space and be like an establishment Republican stooge, a crony. You want to fucking talk about like loving Israel. You're basically like a toy for old conservatives to point to say, oh, look, young people love us. It's the same shit that Olivia Giuliana does for the Democrats, right? Or even in some instances like Harry Sisson. Except unlike this dude, Harry Sisson does fuck. We know that. That is well established. Harry Sisson fucks, okay? So you might have issues with Harry. I certainly do. You know, we are ideologically not in line with one another. I think he is a stooge of the Democratic Party, and I wish he wasn't. But he fucks, objectively, okay? Objectively. He fucks, he pulls, he rizzes. He says stuff like, oh, wine and some NPR, sweetie. Or, God, that ass is fat. You know, stop saying it. I will never stop saying the truth. I will never stop saying the truth. Can you debate Dean Withers and try to make him cry? No, I can't. He cried, we crowed, okay? What is this? Here? Yep, that's my goat. That's my motherfucking goat, dude. Look at that game, dude. Look at that game. God, that ass is fat. Penis Tugger called you out. Hey, Hassan the Hun, why didn't you say it to my face, tough guy? Nice. All right. Let's get started. Before we do it, Gianmarco was on Stavi's World. This is what they were talking about. Someone said that this was they were bringing me up or something.
Big, like actors or whatever. And I was like, and then I don't remember what happened. It was like we were swimming or something. He posted like a weird picture where he didn't realize. Like this, guys with huge dicks don't even know. Like he wasn't even trying to show his dick, but he posted like some kind of picture on his Instagram, and I was like, bro, nice dick, bro. Like his shit was like peaking, and he was like embarrassed. He wasn't trying to show his dick off. He's like a shy guy, and I was like, you're like a handsome guy with a big ass dick. Why won't you like flop your shit out more?
It's for the best.
Some people won't.
If you had a big dick, can you imagine how many naked pictures you'd be putting out? I mean, it'd be.
I do think I probably would have done like just OnlyFans or something like that if my dick was big.
Yeah.
I think I'd show my.
They're not talking about me, dude. I think Stavros talking about somebody else. Stavros would never in a million years ever talk about me as a shy guy, okay? There is no shot that he was talking about me there, okay? First of all, he could meat watch all day, every day, but he would never, ever in a million years say that I'm a shy guy, okay? Also, he'd pull the pick out if it was me, and then he would be ripping into it. Yeah, Stav would never compliment a Turk. He would die before he acknowledged a Turkish man's penis being large, okay? He would also never compliment you on that photo. He would be making fun of it. I think he did make fun of it. What did he say? A Judge William Young and Reagan upon tweet delivers the most scathing legal rebuke on the Trump era, ruling that Trump and his cabinet illegally targeted pro-Palestinian students for deportation to strike fear in the First Amendment protesters. The ruling itself is remarkable. Hell yeah. What did he say in my meat pick, which wasn't a meat pick at all? Did you talk about the ceasefire deal yet? Yes, dude. I spent hours yesterday covering the ceasefire deal, of course, and I will talk about it once more today. What did he say when I posted my before and after picture? For the record, it wasn't like a meat pic or anything. It was just, when didn't I post that on Instagram? Where is it? The range in this broadcast is crazy. You already know it, baby. That's how it works. When did I post that pic? Oh, here it is. What did Stav respond to this? I'm sure he must have. I can't see it. Anyway, whatever. It don't matter. You're just a shy guy. God, that ass is fat. Okay, stop. About time for a new one, boss? I can't, dude. I'm nowhere near in as great shape as I was back then. That's like, I got like 20 pounds on that. I'm like 240 right now, chat. I'm fucking fat. The difference between 240 me and 220 me is like six-pack fucking striations. You know what happened, bro? What do you mean what happened? Look at the last fucking couple of months. The last couple of months have been me traveling all over the place. Like all my diet's been all over the place. It just sucks. 20 pounds is a lot. Not for me. I'm a big boy, but 240, why you look so slim? Because I'm 6'4" and muscular. You can't tell. Also, the way I pack weight, you can't really tell until it gets to a point where it's like really fat. You know what I mean? Until I'm like when I was in my 250, 260 era, 270, 280 era, I also didn't have any muscle mass. I had lost all my muscle as well. Now, at least I have a decent base, like a lot of muscle mass underneath, which is why it doesn't look as bad. But I got to get back down to 220. It's just messed up. Is messed up. You are lucky as hell that you don't have a long torso. That's also true. I have a short torso as well. Calling yourself fat when you're not is your gayest attribute. I'm currently plump. I'm pleasantly plump. My six-pack is gone. Let's be real. All right, let's get started. President Trump is lowering, and this in and of itself is not actually a medbed style situation. This is real. President Trump announces lower drug price with the help of Pfizer. He's doing like Trump med, not medbed, but Trump med.
Pfizer is committing, as will other drug companies as we go through the weeks. But Pfizer is truly one of the biggest in the world and one of the greatest in the world. Today, Pfizer is committing to offer all of their prescription medications to Medicaid, and it will be at the most favored nation's prices. It's going to have a huge impact on bringing Medicaid costs down like nothing else. I told you that in my first term, I was so proud of the fact that for the first time in 28 years, drug prices came down. And I had a news conference that I explained it was 1/10 of 1%, but it was down. And here we're talking about, in one case, over 1,000%. This is a critical step forward to our work and to improve health care, and hardworking, low-income Americans, especially low-income Americans, will be helped so greatly. In addition, Pfizer is agreeing to provide...
Trump, give me that Ozempic, King. Get me that Ozempic and TRT, and my life is yours, okay? Cost-free Ozempic, cost-free TRT for all, baby. Medicare for all, HRT for all, TRT for all, Ozempic for all. You know, these are my demands.
Some of their most popular current medications to all consumers at heavily discounted prices of anywhere between 50 and even 100%, and that's off.
The fat shot doesn't work. I have a lot of fat friends. Fat. They're fat. They're fat. They take the fat shot, and it doesn't take.
That's off the price, and in some cases, even more than that. These drugs will be available for direct purchase online at a website operated by the federal government. We're also announcing that moving forward, all new medications introduced by Pfizer to the American market will be sold at the reduced most favored nation cost. So we'll be paying essentially what other countries are paying, who have been much lower, much lower.
My man, finally, I mean, is he just lying? I don't know the exact details of what this is going to look like. I don't know the exact details of what this is going to look like, obviously. But considering that my policy is Donald Trump is never going to do something right that ends up cutting away at the profit margins of mega corporations, I suspect that there are some catches in this, right? There is 0% chance that he does something good. I'm very, very skeptical. I do not believe that he is going to do good things. I only believe he is capable of doing bad things. You know, maybe you can call me a hater for that, but I am only one guy who is looking at what Donald Trump has done so far and how he moves. And I just don't think that he is even physically capable of shaving away at the bottom line of mega corporations. That's kind of his job. Only bad can happen. Nothing good can happen. Only bad can happen. But yeah, it's direct to consumer. It's basically like Mark Cuban, but with the backing of the administration. He's calling it Trump RX. The White House is planning to unveil a direct consumer website for Americans to buy drugs, dubbed Trump RX, as well as announce that Pfizer plans to lower prices on several of its medications in the U.S. Nothing bad can happen. Only good happen. But it can only bad happen. That's the reality. There's a new Pete Kegsbreath expose. Pentagon Pete's manic meltdowns exposed by AIDS. Obviously, we'll talk about that as well. But let's be real. There is a possible shutdown that is imminent. Okay. We are at the precipice of a government shutdown if the Democrats don't cave. There is still a likelihood that the Democrats might cave. Remember, Chuck Schumer, there's always a likelihood that Chuck Schumer will find a way to say, I don't want to fight, Mr. President. I'm so sorry. Thank you for giving money to Israel.
In other countries and $137 in the U.S. And that's coming down now to probably $15 or $18.
You have to check HUD.gov
They'll
real
go
quick.
up to 18. I think that's pretty much right, Albert. It's not you, but they'll go up to 18 and we'll come down.
This is on the radical left are going to shut down the government and inflict massive pain on the American people unless they get their $1.5 trillion wish list of demands. The Trump administration wants to keep the government open for the American people. Is the shutdown good or bad? There is no world in which the shutdown is good. Obviously, the shutdown is bad. Now, do I believe that the shutdown will be good for the Democrats? It depends. Okay? The shutdown is obviously a crisis, right? You have a lot of workers that are on furlough and none of the government functions work in the way that they normally do. But is it a necessity in times like this? Is it a weapon wielded by the minority party when the administration is engaging in real time with a crippling of all institutions, sicking the military on the people, and taking away a lot of government-funded healthcare away from regular Americans? Absolutely. So, unfortunately, it must be done, right? This is a weapon that the Democrats have in their arsenal, perhaps the most consequential one, and they should have done it in the past as well. I kept repeatedly saying that they have to do this. They have no other tool, right, for the Democrats, their demands are pretty reasonable. Okay, their demands are pretty reasonable. I think that they could be making even more demands. Like, for example, clawing back some of the ICE funding. Like, demanding that they no longer sic ICE and the American military on the domestic front, and also ensuring that some of the cuts that are going to come for Medicaid do not happen, right? Because the reality of the matter is the big beautiful bill is going to bring about $800 billion in cuts to Medicaid, right? That's ginormous. That's terrifying for rural hospitals. It's terrifying for Trump's base, ironically enough. And that is one of the demands that the Democrats are making. They want assurances from the Republican Party to not do that. And, of course, the Republicans are literally turning around and lying and saying they have a $1.5 trillion wish list of demands. They want to give everybody transgender. They want to give everybody undocumented migrant. Okay? Because as it stands, in order to avoid a shutdown, to fund the government, they need votes from Democrats. And the Democrats are standing firmly against it. They're saying, we're not going to fund the government unless you listen to some of the reasonable demands we have. Okay? The Republicans, of course, are using this as an opportunity to attack and lie and make shit up, basically, about what the Democrat demands are. They're claiming, as they have done so over and over again, because they've seen this as a very reliable way to galvanize the base, the Democrats are trying to shut the government because they want to give $1.5 trillion to undocumented transgenders. Okay? If you slap transgender and undocumented into your conversation, illegal alien or transgender into your conversation, every Republican seemingly doesn't realize that they're getting robbed blind. Okay? And that's precisely what they're doing. J.D. Vance started doing this already. My fear here is not only is it the appropriate thing for the Democrats to do in order to protect all American citizens right now, because it's the only tool that they have, and make it costly for the administration to continue the shutdown, because, like, at the end of the day, they control everything. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House. So obviously, when they have full control over the government, like, people are understandably going to look at the shutdown and look at the chaos that ensues and blame the administrative party for it, right? So you create a pressure point against the federal government, and you force them to listen to the reasonable demands that you're making. The problem is this: when you don't have good communicators that are leading the Democratic Party, when the two leaders of the Democrats is Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, you are not going to be able to guide through the treacherous waters of a government shutdown. And that's what I'm actually worried about. I'm worried that they're going to do the right thing and maybe push for a shutdown. And then instead of using that opportunity to talk about all of the things that this administration is doing so far and what your demands are, they are going to get bullied by a faucet of misinformation coming from the Republican side. Okay? And then they'll somehow find a way to fuck this up as well. What do I mean by this? I mean, yesterday, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer went and talked to Donald Trump. They came out and said, it seems like it's the first time Trump has actually heard our demands about, how people are going to lose their health care coverage if this goes through, if this big, beautiful bill goes through, all this stuff, right? Donald Trump came out and said, Hakeem Jeffries is Mexican, and Chuck Schumer wants undocumented illegals to get $1.5 trillion in health care with an AI video. That was what his response was. It's a fucking clown show. It's a goddamn clown show. And it doesn't even feel like the media is equipped to tackle this kind of idiotic sentiment expressed by the administration. At least in like 2016, there was this overall attitude that, like, what Trump was doing was not fit for the station. What Trump was doing was completely inappropriate. And Republicans had a sense of shame, even like those who secretly loved Donald Trump still exhibited a sense of shame that this was, not dignified, right? The way that Trump was presenting himself was not dignified. They would always say, oh, just don't listen to what he has to say. But, listen to what he's doing. What he's doing is good, but what he has to say is kind of stupid. I don't really like it or whatever, right? That's gone now. They don't even do that nowadays. And in some ways, like, I kind of understand, because how can you address respectability politics when no one has a sense of respect for the office? Trump has been able to almost single-handedly completely erode the dignity of the office by weaponizing the bully pulpit and changing the culture dramatically around, like, what the expectation is from the bully pulpit, what the expectation is from supposed to be from the presidency. This is true. He has done that. He's done that successfully. Plus, there is no mechanism that exists as it stands against a faucet of misinformation that Republicans always love to present in times of breaking news, or whenever they want to present a new hysteria that they must combat. Like, left violence is one of the greatest examples of this. Over and over again, we look at the data, and the data shows it's like right-wingers are responsible for the overwhelming majority of fucking violent incidents in this country and acts of domestic terror. And yet these guys keep saying, nah, it's the left. The left is doing violence. The left is doing violence. The left is doing violence over and over again, until people are just like, okay, sure, it's the left, I guess. I'm sorry. Please stop.
From 135 or whatever down to 18. I mean, that's a massive number. Remember, I was the one that held a news conference because I lowered drug prices by 1/4%. I think it was 1/8 of 1%, but it was the only one in 28 years that brought drug prices down for the year. But it was a very small number. Now we're talking about, you're going to see one over 1,000%. Look at these numbers. So, and this has a big impact, even on the discussion that we'll have with Chuck Schumer, who was here yesterday, along with a very nice gentleman who I didn't really know. You know who I'm talking about. The two of them came, and we had a good discussion, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. But this has a huge impact on that, because these numbers are going to bring Medicaid. We talk about Obamacare. Obamacare is a failure. Obamacare is not good. It's there, but relative to other health care programs, it's in the lower 20%. It's not good. And I asked the Democrat representatives, what do you think about coming up with a better health care? This actually allows you to do that, because the cost of prescription medicine is a very big, more than 50% the cost of what we're talking about. So we might be able to do something like that. This is one of the biggest news conferences from a medical standpoint that I think has ever been had by any administration. Yeah, please.
Thank you. I'm curious, where are the other companies other than Pfizer? Are you expecting them to come along later?
They're all with us. And I was honored to have Albert be the first. He's done a fantastic job with, as you know, with the COVID. He did a fantastic job with a lot of things. He's a leader. And
yeah, he also, given that Donald Trump's intention is to just like cripple the federal government anyway, he is also saying that he's going to use the shutdown to further slash the government to begin with. But the problem here is that when they did this with Doge, a lot of people reacted negatively to it. So they had to like literally go back and rehire a bunch of these people. It still actually fucked a bunch of things up. But this is simply a threat. Okay. That's all this is. Will he follow through on it? Maybe, but it doesn't matter. We have to fucking keep up the intensity. We have to keep up the pressure to ensure that they go back on this initial assessment where they try to like fire a bunch of federal government employees. So that's another part of the puzzle as well. It's just like they're fucking up everything. There is an asymmetry when you combat right-wingers. Like there is an ease where there's an ease in which you can destroy something. It takes a lot longer and a lot more effort to build certain things as opposed to breaking them, right? It's so easy for Republicans to just say, like, we're firing everybody. Who gives a shit? Fuck you. The hardest part for the Republican side is to actually destroy things that are defensible, like Social Security. People like that. So they have to take a long time to just like slowly but surely cripple these programs with austerity, and then eventually develop resentment towards those programs. It takes years and years to successfully do this, right? But ironically enough, as the White House correspondent for Independent Andrew Feinberg says, White House is begging hundreds of office managers fired by Elon Musk Doge to come back to work. So like I'm saying, like these guys are stupid enough to follow through on this, but I don't think they realize how devastating this is for the regular federal government to work. They need these people, right? They need these people. They need people that are responsible to continue working at these regulatory agencies. Like if you fire mad people from the FDA, for example, because you're just horny to cripple the federal government, you're going to have the inevitable consequences that are very damaging. Like you're no longer going to have confidence in the meat that you're purchasing at the grocery store. Like you can't have that. Okay, you can't have that. That's chaotic. And maybe in the short term, it looks fine. It feels fine. But the impact of such decisions will harm the public so dramatically that it'll be pure chaos. The expectation that companies are not going to take advantage of the lack of regulatory control and then refuse to actually keep the same standard of quality in their produce is ridiculous. Of course, they're going to be like, all right, but FDA is not checking this shit anymore. Who cares? We can offer substandard safety protocols now. And then eventually the public will start getting sick.
Pfizer is right at the top. You know, it's there. Eli Lilly has been fantastic also, my friend. And they're all coming in over the next week.
This is why early on I said the Democrats should be talking about Doge and talking about the importance of these regulatory agencies at a time when there is already an unprecedented crisis of finding appropriate jobs. These guys are cutting some of the remaining relatively safe middle-class jobs that exist. This was a great opportunity for a Democratic Party, a left-flank party, to actually present the dangers of fucking austerity. And they didn't do it. And because they didn't do it for the past 9 months, because they were just quiet about everything, it's quite difficult for them to do it now in the heat of the moment. This is the issue with the crisis that we're facing with bad leadership in the Democratic Party. It is the exact same crisis that we experienced when Brandon was president. If you don't have a decent orator with good rhetoric who can command the attention of the masses and talk about how wonderful the initiatives that they're taking are, then obviously the opposition can bastardize whatever the fuck you're doing, which they did. Or even, in the case of what Donald Trump is doing here, take credit for it. They could take credit for it. Like the insulin price caps. Donald Trump is like, I did that. That's mine. That's my initiative. It's crazy.
Making deals with all of them. And I said, if we don't make a deal, then we're going to tariff them an extra 5, 6, 7, 8%, whatever the difference is, we'll take it that way. So we took away the advantage by the fact that we have tariffs. We took away the advantage that they would have of just saying no, and we couldn't do anything about it. If they do that, what we do is we'd put a tariff on them of an equivalent amount, and we take it that way. And nobody wants to play that game. So they're going to be, they're all going to be good. We didn't have to mention that to Albert. Well, maybe I whispered it to him very slightly, you know. We had to give ourselves a little bit of an advantage. But the tariffs played a big role because they know that's what's going to happen.
President Trump. You mentioned the tariff, the exemption of the 232s, but can you share a timeline for when we can expect the results of that 232 investigation?
Let Howard answer that question, please.
Sure. So while we're negotiating with these companies, we're going to let them play out and finish these negotiations because they are the most important thing to the American people. So we are standing by, helping and working with them. But the driver of the 232 outcomes is our HHS team because, I mean, look what they've accomplished today. So we are on their side helping them, but that is the model that's going to drive.
And you have to understand, Albert's spending $70 billion that he wouldn't be spending because of the tariffs, let's say, and other reasons. I think he liked the winner of November 5th, in all fairness, but because of the tariffs. And that wouldn't happen. He's not going to pay any tariffs because when he moves here, there are no tariffs. So he won't be paying tariffs. That's the beauty of it. If you move here, there are no tariffs. And We have.
I don't know what the fuck RFK is doing here, bro. I don't know what's going on with his blazer. I don't know why he has his one hand inside of his blazer like he's a Vladimir Putin security guard or something.
Over $17 trillion, Albert. So, you believe these numbers? So Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We have over $17 trillion for essentially 8 months. Pretty amazing.
When will prices come down, Mr. President? When can America?
They're going to start coming down. Drug prices? Well, they'll be starting immediately. Yeah.
Mr. President, can you speak to what impact you think this reduction in drug prices will have on midterms coming up?
I think it's going to have a huge. I said, if we can pull this off before midterms, I've wanted to do it from the beginning, from my first day in first term. And we were doing so well. We had the greatest economy we've ever had. Everything was good. And then we're ready to do this, which is complex and big. It's a big change. But what happened is COVID came, and we focused on COVID. We focused on COVID very hard with Albert, with the other companies, with everybody. Regeneron was a great thing. You know, we did a lot of therapeutics that were fantastic. And so we focused on that. And I said, if I pull this off again, the first thing I'm going to do, and you know, we've been working on this for 8 months. This is a very big deal. This is a big shock to the system. But it's not as much as I said. They're going to go up. The world is going to go up a little bit. We're going to come down a lot. But now it's fair. We're going to be paying the same thing. Yeah.
President Trump, in your first term, when you cut the price of insulin, Biden later came in and tried to steal credit for that. Do you worry that the Democrats are going to try to steal credit for these historic cuts?
I really appreciate your question because I did. I cut the price of insulin down to $35.
Very good question. You seem like a dapper young lad with a wonderful career ahead of you. What is the question, bro? That's not a question. It's a glaze. That's just that's a dick suck, okay? Half of the people that are in that room are there specifically so that they can be like, Mr. President, you are so sexy and hot today. I love you. Why do you think the Democrats have a crisis of ugly? Why do you think the Democrats are so weak and feeble, Mr. President? Why don't they actually demand that there's a national holiday to celebrate you, Mr. President? Very good question. Thank you. Fantastic.
And the problem is with many of these things, in this case, it's going to be pretty quick, but oftentimes you'll do something medically because of the process, and it won't be seen for 2 or 3 years. That happened also with, I could say 4 different things, but just if you talk about insulin, so it was 200, 300, 500, and you couldn't get it, and I got it down to 35. And I said, I hope I win the next election because otherwise whoever wins is going to take credit for it. Well, what happened is we did win the election. We did great. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way from a practical standpoint. And Biden, when I saw him get up and take credit for the $35 and even less insulin, that was 1,000% lower than what it was just previous. Boy, I tell you, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I did the best I could to let him know we did it because we want to be given credit. But we are the ones that got insulin down to that number. And you're right. They tried to take credit for it. They had nothing to do. In fact, they didn't even know what happened. All of a sudden, the insulin price kicked in at $35. And they asked Biden about it. He had no idea what the hell they were talking about. But after they explained, and they didn't really explain to him because he was not.
By the way, once again, and I told you so a moment, but even the government forcibly reducing the prices of one singular medication for Medicare recipients is such a banger piece of policy that both of these administrations have played football on who's responsible for doing it. Please, I'm begging people to understand that this is perhaps the greatest example of a person that is the greatest example of the success of socialized medicine. Please look at how much both Biden and Donald Trump have tried to take credit back and forth for lowering one fucking price, the price of insulin. Like, wake the fuck up, guys. There is no better indication of how fucking successful a bold agenda in the direction of socialized medicine would look like, how successful that would look like, how popular that would be for every single American. This is it. It blows my mind that people still act as though this is not the case. Oh my God.
Not capable really of understanding it. But when they went out and talked about it. They acted like it was a great feat but it had nothing to do with him. And it continues, and we'll get it down even further. But insulin was, people weren't taking it, I would imagine. They couldn't take. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there. Don't you have Paxlovid? What is it? He's got Paxlovid. give me a Paxlovid immediately.
While Nancy Pelosi is ignoring what you're doing for the American people, she's going after your administration for cutting taxpayer-funded healthcare for illegal aliens. Last night, Nancy Pelosi, she went on NBC last night, dropped a bunch of F-bombs, told Republicans to go F themselves. Has she lost her mind?
Why is this guy talking so much? Who the hell is this guy, bro? Also, why did Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend lose a battle to a beehive or something? What the fuck happened to this guy? I just realized Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, the one who famously yelled at Zelensky about not wearing a suit, looks like absolute shit. Why is he so swollen? It looks like he ate out a beehive, bro. What the hell? What happened to him? He looks like evil Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, what the fuck?
We have done an unbelievable job medically. Just this, if you did nothing else, we've done a lot like the insulin. But just this, nobody can ever catch this. This is the biggest price reduction times, maybe 10 times, 15 times than has ever been given before. And this is going to have a huge impact. You know, as I said, Obamacare is not a good thing. It's been bad. And I'd like to make it better. I told them, I spoke to a lot of people, a lot of Democrats recently. I said, why don't we change it? We can make Obamacare much better. We could come up with a new system that would be much better, less expensive for the people and better. This is maybe the biggest breakthrough because, you know, when you're talking about the prescription drugs, that's a big part of it. So we're going to look, this is prescription, but we're going to be looking at that. We could come up and through this whole thing, you know, because I don't know, we'll probably have a shutdown because one of the things they want to do is they want to give incredible Medicare, the Cadillac Medicare to illegal immigrants. And what that does is it keeps them coming into our country, and like they do in California. And no country can afford that, no country. And we have the border stopped up. We have it closed. We have nobody for 4 months. Zero people came in. That wasn't me. That's by the authorities who happen to be liberally oriented. But just think of that. We have people offering health care to people all over the world that they can't afford to pay, and that's the Democrats. And what that does is it brings people into the country because they want to come in for the health care. But no country can afford it, and they can't afford it. So we cannot allow them to charge tremendous amounts of money for health care for people that aren't even citizens. And in many cases, they come in from prisons, jails, and mental institutions. And we can't let that happen. So we have a big fight over that. We have a fight over open borders. They still want open borders.
Government shutdown ticker. Oh, my Lord.
We're having a fight over men and women's sports, if you believe it. You would have thought they would have learned.
Where is the fight over this, man? No, you're having a fight with yourself on an issue that is inconsequential, okay? On an issue that is consequential for 1% or less than 1% of the population, of course, but is utterly inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, whichever, if you take the initiative and ban it, which you did. But it seems like it was utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, considering that the cost of living crisis is still imminent and is growing and is actually getting worse. Groceries are more expensive now than they ever were at any point under the Brandon leadership. Remember, that was the #1 reason why motherfuckers voted for him. Okay, they thought, oh, well, he will bring the grocery prices down. What happened? All he's done is just bar transgender athletes from participating in the NCAA competitions. Like, okay, you did that. Did people's lives get better? No. I can't stand this shit, man. There is no better representation that like all the culture war stuff that these guys, all the culture war battles that these guys fight are simply violent distractions. And have been used as a way to make people look the other way on their inability to address the actual crises that people voted for Donald Trump. Like another great example of this is immigration, right? Donald Trump is talking about, you know, open borders, new. Reuters uncovers that the Trump admin is prosecuting the lowest number of drug trafficking cases in decades. Oh my God. How strange, you might be saying. Maybe it's because Donald Trump is actually actively stopping border crossings from taking place. Nope, that's not the reason. The reason is because the Trump admin has diverted so many law enforcement resources away from drugs to going after random fucking migrants instead. Brad Heath says the number of people charged with breaking federal drug laws dropped to the lowest levels in decades this year after the Trump administration ordered enforcement agencies to focus on deporting immigrants. Okay? More drugs were seized in August 2025 than in August 2024. Fentanyl flow is down, but that's been ongoing for almost 2 years now. Cocaine is coming in as normal. Meth appears to be on the upswing. Lots of drugs are still being seized. There is no evidence that a drop in drugs coming into the U.S. in part because of the overwhelming majority of hard drugs make it into the country at legal ports of entry or through tunnels or boats, neither of which have been impacted by a drop in migration, something that we said over and over again, by the way, because drugs were not actually being trafficked in the pockets of otherwise law-abiding abuelas that were crossing the fucking border. Drugs were coming in through regular ports and regular points of entry, okay? That was the Department of Homeland Security's own data. That was the Customs and Border Patrol's own data that showed that reality, for the record. I wonder if there was a fucking political commentator who kept repeating this point over and over again, the notion that, like, mass deportation was somehow going to, or a more militant response for border crossings was somehow going to magically evaporate the drug trade. I said it. I said it to any congressperson that would listen to me. I was like, this is so stupid. Why is nobody talking about that? New, for the first time ever, the largest group of people arrested in the interior and detained by ICE are people with no criminal record, by the way. As of yesterday's data release, 40% of those arrested in the interior and detained by ICE had no prior conviction or pending charges. By the way, this doesn't even mean that the people that were being apprehended with prior charges were being apprehended for severe crimes. Make no mistake, trespass or traffic violations, things of that nature are considered prior charges, okay? So they use that to beef up the stats. So if you look at like the actual violent crime apprehension, that number, I'm willing to bet, has not gone up dramatically at all, okay? What is this? Social credit, please stop. Why? As opposed to migrants arrested at the border or an airport and sent to detention. So looking at those arrested by ICE versus Customs and Border Patrol is a proxy for those arrested as a part of the internal enforcement operations. Oh, in the interior means, for people that are wondering what that means, there are interior deportations that are happening in the regular, streets of Los Angeles or the streets of Chicago and places like that, as opposed to the Customs and Border Patrol apprehensions, which happen usually at in or around the border, like the border crossings that you see, or at an airport, for example. CBP apprehends at the airport. Wrong. First, criminal record means a prior arrest or conviction, not having committed a crime for which a person wasn't ever arrested. If it was the latter, nearly every American would have a record. Second, visa overstays, haven't committed a crime. While the latest data does not contain a detailed breakout, we know that historically the majority of people with prior convictions arrested by ICE have low-level misdemeanors or violations. Less than 10% of those detained have violent felonies. Okay? So remember that. Remember that when you're looking at these numbers. So when you look at like prior convictions or pending criminal charges, as opposed to no criminal record whatsoever, even the prior conviction or pending criminal charges are oftentimes, 90% of them are low-level offenses, and only 10% of them are violent criminal offenses. If you look to the actual apprehension and the actual detention or the prosecution, there is no world in which, under the Biden administration, when an undocumented migrant was responsible for a violent or heinous crime, that they just were immediately released because of fucking woke. That's not a thing that ever happened. And yet, for some weird goddamn reason, no fucking Democrat leading up to the election or even before the election ever addressed that reality. No Democrat went up on stage at any point and said, the fuck are these Republicans talking about? You think when someone is a rapist, a serial killer, we just let them go because they're Guatemalan? Like, what are you, fucking stupid? Of course they get prosecuted and apprehended and detained permanently. Depending on the severity of the crime, they are either thrown in prison under the U.S. criminal justice system or sometimes deported if it's not as significant of an offense. This is a crisis of misinformation. This is a crisis of lazy leadership. This is a crisis of scared leadership on the Democratic side. It's very, very frustrating. Being present unlawfully is a civil immigration law violation punishable by possible deportation, not a federal crime punishable by jail. The exception is people previously deported whose presence in the U.S. after illegal reentry is a crime. This is an immigration lawyer having to address all of the regular points of confusion in this circumstance. Phoenix Emoji, thank you for the 36 gifted subs, by the way. Your voluntary contributions in the form of subscriptions and gifted subs to the Piker Broadcasting Service is the only way that you can materially support the Piker Broadcasting Service. The PBS, Piker Broadcasting Service, is sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. Your voluntary donations in the form of subscriptions, whether they are free with a Twitch Prime or a $6 a month subscription, is the only way that you can support the broadcast. Open Presents, thank you for the 25 gifted subs. And Non-Jade, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Valorant is also gifting 1 gifted sub for every 5 gifted subs in the chat as well. Valorante, Cutie McBiddy, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. Allowing 50 people to now no longer, allowing 50 people to now be able to rewind the broadcast. You were going to say no longer see the ads? Caught? Yeah, that's true. I don't run ads anymore, as you guys know. Okay, Jimmy Slammies and M2BTEC. Thank you for the 5. Anyway, the average time for a detained immigration court case has been measured in months for many years. In this case, the data is consistent and has been produced in this format for multiple years. I track it regularly. There's no sign of manipulation. 40% is already scandalously high. The data is from ICE. Until it can be independently verified, there's little reason to believe it's accurate. That data is not available, but one of the main... How many people detained were here legally with papers in the process of getting permanent status? How many were arrested as they were reporting to the court for asylum and other cases? That data is not available, but one of the main reasons we've seen the dramatic spikes in arrests of people with no criminal records is the immigration court arrests and the Los Angeles raids, which you can see reflected in the data around June. Being here illegally is a criminal act, which these fucking idiots repeat over and over again. Aaron Reichlin Melnick says, completely false, and if you don't believe me, here's the Supreme Court saying it. As a general rule, it is not a crime for a removable alien to remain present in the United States. Why? One must ask the question, why? Why is this not considered like some heinous fucking crime? Because this is a crime oftentimes born out of a lack of proper paperwork. The real crime is the government refusing to give these people the proper documentation. These people are not doing anything wrong. Okay? They're not doing anything wrong. It's like getting mad at fucking jaywalkers and saying that they're destroying the social fabric. It's fucking ridiculous. You have to present an argument as to why having these people work inside of the boundaries of the United States is actually bad. No one ever makes that argument beyond a bunch of vague gesturing in the form of, oh, they're destroying the culture or they're parasitic and they're fucking destroying America. It's all just like white nativist bullshit. Okay? Not even remotely, no criminal record, stay in the country for your loophole, not even remotely, but what this shows us is that the administration's claim to be focused on the worst of the worst is utter propaganda. In reality, Stephen Miller told ICE to stop focusing on people with criminal convictions and instead hit quotas. This is also true. Sadly, the data doesn't contain how many people detained were here legally with papers. Okay, we already covered that shit too. Anyway, as with many other issues, if that gets relitigated, you're looking at a 6-3 overturn. No, not even remotely likely. In that excerpt, Supreme Court was straightforwardly describing the criminal laws of the United States, not issuing a contested ruling. You're welcome to look through the criminal code. You won't find a general crime of being here unlawfully. Okay? It makes no sense. That is part of the reason why these guys want to make it a heinous crime. They want to elevate it to felony status, for example, as they did in the first Trump administration. The point of contention is that if you want to elevate like illegal crossings or visa overstayings as a felony in and of itself, you have to present an argument as to why visa overstaying or crossing the border illegally, okay, without having the proper paperwork is a severe crime. You can't just like present it and be like, oh, they're breaking the rules. That's a fucking idiotic way to do things, right? Except we're a nation of stupids, and therefore it's obvious that you can kind of get away with doing this kind of silly thing. You can lean into the worst fears of tribalistic people who don't even realize that they're surrounded by people that don't have the proper clearance or the proper authorization to work in this fucking country. Anyway, let's talk about the clock ticking down to the government shutdown, and then we're going to move on to the Pete Hegseth and all this other shit that's going on.
Just hours until the midnight deadline, Congress barreling toward a government shutdown. Congressional leaders leaving the White House without a deal.
There was a frank and direct discussion with the President of the United States and Republican leaders, but significant and meaningful differences remain.
Democrats refusing to back down, saying they will not vote to fund the government unless Republicans reverse cuts to Medicaid and keep healthcare premiums from rising for some 20.
I mean, this is like the bare minimum, man. This is bare minimum. It's good. It's good that they're actually fighting this fight. But again, this battle will be won or lost depending on how you communicate your discontent. Okay? And I am fearful that these guys are ill-equipped. It would be a tough battle regardless. You could be the most charismatic guy. You could be the Pete Buttigieg, right? Pete Buttigieg could be the leader of the Democratic Party right now, and he's a skillful communicator, regardless of how much I don't like his worldview. He is obviously a skilled communicator, right? Or Gavin Newsom as well. Having said that, it would be even a tough battle for those guys too. Why would it be a tough battle? Because the opposition, the administration, doesn't play by normal rules. They just fucking lie. They'll be like, oh, immigrants. You want to give $17 quintillion to migrants and transgender them. That's why you want to push for this fucking shutdown. How dare you? And then everybody goes, oh, I believe that. They said the key words. Okay? They said the key words. And not only are these guys ill-equipped because they're a void of charisma, not only are these guys ill-equipped because they're fearful, but they're ill-equipped in general because it's very hard to combat against a faucet of misinformation that the Republicans present, especially when you don't have an underlying base of established reality that you carefully constructed of after years and years of counter messaging. These guys never actually did the counter messaging that was appropriate at the time when Biden was president or when they were running for office, when they were running in the general election. They never actually did that. They only capitulated to the right-wing framing on these issues, and now we are seeing the consequences, okay? And what is so frustrating about this is, like, I just want the Democrats to literally just say the truth, okay? I want them to say the fucking truth. Is that too hard? Is that too hard to do? Is that really that crazy of a demand? Just please say the truth. It blows my fucking mind that is like a bridge too far for many in the party at this point. Just be honest. Be honest about the truth. Like, all this stuff that's going on with ICE is built around a hysteria, built around a falsehood that, like, immigrants were doing all these fucking crimes and whatnot. Okay? That was all bullshit. Just fucking say the truth. It is a very powerful weapon that you have on your side.
Million Americans.
They just wanted to kick the healthcare problem down the road.
Vice President J.D. Vance with this warning.
I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
And just hours after that meeting, the president turning to mocking Democratic leadership with an AI-generated video on social media with fabricated and false audio. The video shows an AI version of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero and a fake mustache with fabricated audio of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Jeffries writing on X, bigotry will get you nowhere. We are not backing down. And this morning, the White House is now threatening to fire not just furlough workers under programs that are, quote, not consistent with the president's priorities. If the government shuts down, as many as 4 million federal employees could go without a paycheck. 2 million troops could be forced to work without pay, leaving military families in limbo. Heather Campbell's husband is a major in the Air Force in Alabama. She worries about making ends meet for their 3 kids.
We're not talking about faceless humans in a faraway office. We're talking about men and women and moms and dads and grandparents and sisters and uncles. And they want to show up and they want to do a good job and they want to be honest, hardworking Americans. And they're getting caught in the middle.
Who will the narrative blame if the government shuts down? Under normal circumstances, it should be the current White House, right? It should be the administration. They control everything, right? But I fear that given the performance of the Democrats right now, I fear that I want them to fight. I want them to fight. I want them to force a compromise, okay? Because these are issues that are incredibly important. What they are trying to defend is people's health care, okay? But I fear that either they will cave, or even if they actually do force a shutdown, that they won't be able to navigate through the information war that is going to take place, as the Republicans have already demonstrated that they will just lie and be like, they just want to transgender migrants or whatever the fuck they're saying. And the Democrats will be like, oh, no, we don't want to do that. Well, please stop. I'm so sorry. And then I'm fearful that the broader public sentiment will shift in the direction of Democrats' responsibility, because they're so fucking weak. This is why we need better leadership in the Democratic Party right now, okay? Updated to include newly released New York Times, Siena, and Marist polls. Trump and congressional Republicans still starting off shouldering more of the blame by a 14-point margin, though notably, there is a large pox on both of their houses contingent as well, okay? Government shutdown blame, September 2025 publicly released polls show that there is around a 14-point margin on average, okay, that put the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of the Trump and Republicans in Congress. So this spells that people will correctly blame the party in charge for a government shutdown. But that can change. That can change if the Democrats don't message around this, okay? Because this is a narrative battle that will take place, a battle of narratives that will take place. And the Republicans are very quick to just seize, because they're fearful of a shutdown themselves. The Republicans are trying to, on the one hand, claim that the Democrats are doing this for, funding illegals, right? And then on the other hand, they're even saying that they'll take advantage of the shutdown and fire more federal workers, like permanently. No, the fuck they won't, for the record. That is the reason why they're also begging all the fucking regulatory agency members that they fired with the Doge cuts to come back to work right now. So just remember, this is a moment for bravery, okay? This is a moment to exhibit there's a shred of fucking courage in the face of this fascist administration doing a whole bunch of fuck shit.
Of this political rhetoric.
Republicans say that Democrats should support funding the government without any strings attached. So today in the Senate, they are going to force a vote on a bill that does not include any of the Democratic demands, but they still need the support of at least 7 Senate Democrats in order to get that bill passed. The bottom line here, Robin, someone has to compromise to avert this shutdown, and neither side is backing down.
It does appear that way, Rachel. All right, thanks to you.
If the government shuts down, talk about being injured. At midnight, the impact may be felt at airports all around the country. More than 58,000 TSA employees and 13,000 air traffic controllers would be working without pay. Nobody likes that.
Hopefully I'm going to get the fuck out of here before this happens. Oh, my Lord.
Chris Van Cleve is at Denver's airport with more on what flyers can expect. Chris, good morning to you. What can you tell us?
TSA has limited the items that may be carried.
Well, good morning, Gail. We don't expect major disruptions tomorrow or the rest of this week if people show up at an airport like here in Denver. But if this shutdown is measured in weeks, not days, or stretches even longer than that, that's when we need to prepare for the potential of disruptions and delays. And I'm basing that off what we saw play out back in 2018 when we had a 35-day shutdown starting in December. As soon as that first missed paycheck, so think about 2 weeks in, we started to see sick calls from TSA officers really increase at airports across the country. That led to longer lines at checkpoints, so it took people longer to get through security. Some checkpoints had to be closed, and in one case in Miami, they even had to close an entire terminal because there weren't enough TSA officers to staff it. Now, TSA officers are not high-paid government workers, so missing a paycheck can have a profound impact. Air traffic controllers would also work without pay, and in January of 2019, air traffic control sick calls resulted in significant flight disruptions in the New York City area shortly before the shutdown ended. There is a shortage of air traffic controllers. During a shutdown, hiring and training of new hires generally stops. That would slow efforts to get more controllers on the job quickly. Amtrak should operate normally because while it receives federal funds, it is operated as an independent entity. Travelers heading to national parks, they're likely to be in for a disappointment. Most national parks will close to the public during a shutdown. The U.S. Travel Association estimates the cost of a shutdown to the U.S. travel economy to be about $1 billion a week, Nate.
All right, Chris, we'll stay tuned.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them. like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, we're cutting that.
What this government
I need people to understand that
all
this is false framing, okay? Whenever you hear a Republican or even Democrats do this too, obviously, when they have an initiative, when they want to do something, they present it with false framing. They can't just be like, we want to cut Medicaid so that we give massive tax cuts to the super wealthy, even though that is obviously the point, right? That's the point. That's what they're doing. That's the reason why they're doing this. But obviously they're not going to present it as that. So just remember when like Donald Trump or the Republicans in general present why they are so forceful on this Medicaid cut, they have to present it as like tackling waste, fraud, and abuse. I famously said something about tackling waste, fraud, and abuse, and the Republican Party's general lack of interest in tackling waste, fraud, and abuse when I talked about the famous Florida Republican. Not going to say it again, but Rick Scott would be criminally prosecuted if these guys actually cared about waste, fraud, and abuse. If the Republicans truly cared about it, the Republican politicians would actually look to their own ranks on people that have participated in record-breaking waste, fraud, and abuse on the side of Medicare and Medicaid. So obviously, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. That is clear. And here is perhaps one of the better communicators on the Democratic Party side explaining as to why they want to force a shutdown potentially if they don't get concessions from the Republican administration.
Is whether Republicans are going to be able to get away with raising health insurance premiums by 75%.
Why haven't you watched the content, Nuke? What is this? Drama guy. Government shutdown imminent. Maybe going to war with Venezuela. And this chatter is a time traveler, I think. I have watched the context, Nuke, at this point. There is a bro, rewind it into spring. Yeah. I don't know if you knew this or not, but not only did I watch it, but I did like an 8-hour response to it. Here it is. There you go. Maybe you were in a coma and you didn't see it. But this was Disarming the Content Nuke Part 1. I went through it for 8 hours, as a matter of fact. Look, and you can go through the different parts of it. I mean, it has 1 million views. I'm trolling. Oh, okay. Well, let's continue.
Yes, 75% on average for 20 million Americans. And in addition to that, throwing 15 million people off the health care they have by making devastating cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. And you know what that means? That means, not according to Bernie Sanders, but according to people who have studied the issue, academics, tens of thousands of Americans are going to die unnecessarily. Well, you know what? I am not going to support that. And that is why the Republicans have got to sit down, they've got to negotiate, and they've got to protect the health care needs of the American people.
Mr. President, the next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my face.
Sexual panther. Right now. Nancy Pelosi slams Republicans over Trump's role in looming shutdown. I'm glad that we dusted off. We dusted off the Speaker Emerita, okay? The Grand Wizard of the Democrat KKK rat party, Nancy motherfucking Pelosi, okay? We dusted her off and we brought her back, seemingly since Hakeem Jeffries is not doing the job. She uses bad words here. Let's take a look.
It's really important for the American people to recognize that every shutdown we have had has been a Republican shutdown, including this one. This one even more so because they have the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. It's important to note that they do not believe in governance, so a shutdown of government is a...
I'm not even kidding when I say this. She's literally better at 875 years old than Hakeem Jeffries is. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but she is a better communicator than Hakeem Jeffries is. And remember, Hakeem Jeffries was groomed for this position by Nancy fucking Pelosi. Okay? It is crazy. I know it's a pretty low bar, but that's how low the bar is. That's how low the standard is. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's true.
Victory for them. They love that. Government is shut down. And when they've shut it down in the past, and when we've come back in, many of their leaders have not voted to come back in. So here we are at a place where we should be quite happy about meeting the needs of the American people. Some of the pillars of economic and health security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act. They don't care about that. They never voted for any of that. They never voted for any of that. Medicaid should wither on the vine, they said. Medicaid, put it in a box, tie it in a ribbon, throw it in the deep blue sea.
Do you have confidence that this is actually a real negotiation that is going to happen at the White House later today?
Oh, I have no idea. Going into it, let's review what the president has said. What we're talking about is meeting the health care needs of the American people, little babies, moms with breast cancer, dads with a stroke, and all of that. The president has said, I hear what they're saying. It's all unserious and ridiculous. In fact, I've listened to their and I tell them to go themselves.
God damn! Can she say that? Pop off, queen. Pop off, queen.
So that's the... I can't believe I use that word. My kids will be shocked. My grandchildren will be further shocked. I'm just quoting the President of the United States. And so I think the leverage springs not from any shared values with him, if that's what he thinks healthcare is about, and yourself, but that it is something that they're hearing from...
Wait, what the fuck? Okay, what? Okay, that is crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. What the fuck is happening? Someone needs to wash their mouth with soap. Okay? That's crazy. What?
And so I think the leverage springs not from any shared values with him, if that's what he thinks healthcare is about, and yourself, but...
Is this AI? What the hell? Dark Nancy. Dark Nancy is alive, dude. Unshackle. Dark Nancy. She's getting old. She's allowed to say it.
But that it is something that they're hearing from constituents, that they do not want to see the healthcare costs go up.
By the way, she has the same hand thing that Trump has. Everyone is so fucking old in this stupid ass government, man. They're gonna kill all of us. I swear to God. They're just... And they don't even care because they're all decaying. They're all like 80 years old. Oh, my Lord, man.
The Affordable Care Act subsidies are not extended. You know, this is so funny because I'm an appropriator, and over the years I've always said, left to their own devices, appropriators can get this job done. They know what the priorities are. They know where you have to negotiate, where you have a difference of opinion, which you must respect, and that it's only the intervention of Donald Trump that is making this difficult.
Some of the questions of the White House press corps, boy, has Nancy Pelosi lost her mind. Here's Steny Hoyer. Hoyer's office is handing these cars out to the House Democrats as they leave their caucus meeting today. OMB Director Russell Vought in a private 2023 speech. We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they're increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down. We want to put them in trauma. By the way, the people that he's talking about are people that are in this community, you know, like people that work for the national parks, people that work for the FDA, people that work for the CDC, people that work for the SEC, all of these numerous different government regulatory agencies that work tirelessly to ensure that your meat that you purchase at the grocery store isn't poison, that you know when like awful weather incidents are taking place, natural disasters are imminent, for example. Those are the people that they're talking about as like villains, okay? Scientists, the woke nerds, if you will. Oh, It's incredible how much we are cooking ourselves, okay? It is incredible. Enton, Mr. Holy Toledo is back. He's going to be talking about, this is a huge blistering opinion from a federal judge. I'm going to get to it in a second. That's a huge deal that just took place. And we'll get to that again. Trump is live again. He never shuts up.
Running up the back of his neck and a lump on his head, but you would never know it from his personality.
Okay, I don't care about this right now. Let's just continue with this. There's too much going on. If there's anything interesting or unique that Donald Trump talks about coming up, we'll get to it. But did you ever talk about Eric Adams dropping out? No, because there's a million things happening right now that is like Eric Adams dropping out wasn't even that big of a deal. We watched this. We watched this is from 6 hours ago.
All right, a live look at Capitol Hill, where a lot and not a lot is happening right now. Time is quickly running out for lawmakers to come to a compromise and do their jobs to avoid a government shutdown, keep the government funded. This morning, there is still no signs of a deal on the horizon. CNN's Harry Enton is running the numbers on this in a specific way, how one party you see in the numbers is facing more pressure than the others, and that's the Democrats. Why?
Why is it that the Democrats, in my mind, are facing more pressure, those Democratic leaders? And that is because their base thinks that their party leaders are weak. Look at this.
Well, their base knows that the party leaders are weak because the party leaders are weak. And this is a thing that I kept repeating over and over again. At least the Republican base thinks that Trump is awesome. Okay. At least there is like a base at all for the Republican Party. Both of the parties are unpopular. Donald Trump's approval ratings are underwater. Having said that, his own party's base of support still supports him. Democrats don't even have their own party's base of support any longer because of all of the issues that I have been railing about over and over and over again. Meanwhile, liberals have been yelling at me instead of trying to fucking yell at the Democrats alongside their parents who have become radicalized over the course of the past couple of months, demanding that Democratic politicians put their bodies on the fucking line. Meanwhile, you got dumbfuck neoliberals on the internet still trying to relitigate this discourse. There has to be a reason for this. And the reason is not because all the Barbaras and Debras are tuning into the fucking HasanAbi broadcast to develop some sense of discontent towards the Democratic administration. Okay? They're just literally looking at the situation with Donald Trump destroying the American federal government, Donald Trump destroying the Constitution, spitting on it every day, wiping his fucking ass cheeks with it, and going, where are the Democrats? Why are they not doing anything? Why are they not channeling the discontent that we feel right now? That's it. And in the absence of good leadership from the establishment Democrats, who unironically think that if they just stick around and quietly just wait for this period to go away, that they'll be rewarded in the midterm elections for their inaction. And it's very stupid for them to do so. It's a very stupid decision for them because this is going to lead to, one, more discontent and obviously mass mobilization. And then that mass mobilization is going to be actively stamped out by the administration. They're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to even like make a big fuss about the Constitution being in tatters. Okay, the Republicans are lighting the Constitution on fire, lighting the First Amendment on fire, for example, and there is no guarantee that the Democrats will be rewarded for simply being the opposition party when their own audience doesn't fucking think that they are the actual opposition. That's why they keep saying, you guys suck, you're complicit, you're engaging in an act of appeasement. Anyway, Harry Emden.
Democrats on who has strong leaders. Look at this. 54% say neither party, 54% of Democrats say neither party has strong leaders. Among Republicans, 80% of their base thinks Republicans have strong leaders. Yet among Democrats, just 35% of Democrats say their party has strong leaders. When you add together this 54% with this 11%, we're talking about 2/3 of Democrats who say neither party or Republicans have stronger leaders, as compared to just 35% who say their own parties have strong leaders. As I said at the top, weak is how Democrats view their leaders in Washington.
But facing more pressure too, does this suggest, and we'll continue with this, but the question then is, does this suggest that the pressure is for them to cut a deal or to stand against what they think is what Republicans want. That remains kind of the question in and of this. But getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Who gets stuff done?
Yeah, exactly. And this is the other thing. It's not just that Democrats think that their party leaders are weak. They also think they don't get anything done. I mean, take a look here. Okay, Democrats and who get things done. Again, it's just 50. We get this 50% of Democrats say neither party gets anything done. Just 41% of Democrats say their own party gets stuff done. When you add in this 9% of Democrats who say the Republican Party is more likely to get things done with neither party, we're talking about 3 in 5 Democrats who say neither party or Republicans are more likely to get things done than the Democratic Party. And again, that is the complete inverse of how Republicans feel, because 77% of Republicans think their own party leaders are likely to get things done.
I wonder why. Perhaps it's because the Republicans have designed a political environment where they do offer some red meat to the base, no matter how silly or inconsequential it might seem, as opposed to the material realities that must be addressed, as opposed to like the economy, right? They don't do the economy shit, but at least they go, oh, we're going to dominate transgenders. We're going to dominate the migrants. So at least for the base of support within the Republican Party, they go, well, it kind of feels like they're doing something. It feels like they're doing some of the things that they promised, and they're relatively happy. It takes a long time for those guys to recognize that their pockets are still hurting, despite in spite of the reality that the Republicans are in charge, right? But that is the reason why they hammer on the trans-Tifa narratives, they hammer on the transgender narratives, they hammer on the idea that like undocumented migrants are responsible for a lot of crime and all this shit. That's the reason. It's so that they just keep their base of support together. They recognize that there are radical elements within their base, and they offer them treats. They offer them treats that are, objectively violent for broad swaths of the public, and actually create an environment of tremendous discontent. But if you look at the way that the Republicans have been able to hold this coalition together, that's the reason, right? Objectively violent treats, yes. It comes across like it's a distraction away from their inability to address the cost of living crisis, but it's a distraction that is very violent if you're a trans person. If you're a trans person, you are fearful of your future in this country. If you're an undocumented migrant, you're fearful of sending your children to school because you're worried that like ICE is going to kidnap them. That's an objectively violent environment. It's an objectively unstable environment that this administration has created. But the purpose of why they do that is because they treat entire swaths of the population, marginalized communities, some of the most vulnerable people in this country, as discardable, disposable. They can get away with doing violence towards them. They can get away with doing violence towards them because they can get away with doing violence towards them simply as a message, simply to say like, oh, we are doing something.
Compared to just 41% of Democrats, about half that level, who think their own leaders get things done. Again, Democrats just don't think very highly of their party at this point, and that is why there's so much pressure on those leaders, in my mind, in Washington to actually do something that satisfies their base.
Add all of this up. What does it say about the view of the Democratic Party in general?
Yeah, I mean, here is a line from Donald Trump himself, actually. Look at that.
I thought would be met with fury on the left, but they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it. They've had it with Trump. They've been after me for so many years now. Here we are. Here we are. Come to the White House anytime you'd like. No, they've given up.
We all need to not ignore the fact that Democrats also help ICE gain as much power as they have now, thanks to them refusing to address our needs like student loan forgiveness or debt relief. Now ICE is able to dangle it over everyone's heads like a shiny set of keys. Oh, for sure. They're saying that the left has given up. They're not even fighting any longer. He's saying that to a room full of generals. This is from the generals meeting that took place early this morning, where Pete Hegseth demanded every single general in the United States of America in this like unprecedented move come down, I think to Virginia, where him and Trump delivered this like rousing speech, you know?
A lot of bad people, but all over that's been so popular. It's been very popular. I really thought that we were going to have to sort of fight it through. There's been no fight. I thought would be met with.
I really thought that we were going to have some sort of fight it some sort of fight it through. There's been no fight, he says. Now, of course, there has been a fight. There has been a fight. But the reason why he doesn't think there's been a fight is because the fight has not been channeled by electeds. Okay? It's not been championed by any sort of representatives or any sort of leadership. There are some who have exhibited discontent at times, like Chris Van Hollen, and the actions that he took was a great example and something that I think more Democrats should be doing. This is something that I talked about at the time, right? When he went down to El Salvador and demand the return of Kilmar Abrega Garcia, that was fighting. That was good leadership. But when he says like the left is not fighting, from these guys' perspective, none of the major leaders of the Democratic Party are actually collectively making a big fuss about all of the awfulness that has been presented, all the awful shit that these guys are doing. And that's precisely the reason why Democrats' own base, their voters, people like yourself, your parents, your grandparents, they are also angry at the Democratic Party as well, because you don't have to love the Democrats. I certainly don't, but they're the only game in town as it stands. And therefore, we have to use the Democratic Party. We have to use the elected representatives to put up a strong fight, because they still, as elected representatives, have a tremendous ability to galvanize the rest of the public. And if you don't see them out there protesting alongside yourselves, you're not going to get the confidence necessary to put up an even stronger fight against this administration. That's the reason why a lot of people are frustrated. We need to start seeing these electeds out in the fucking streets. Right now, it feels as though the electeds are disgusted with our demands. They think our demands are ridiculous. Oh, how dare they want us to do something? Republicans are in charge. What can we do? It's ridiculous. Be more like Brad Lander. Be more like Chris Van Hollen. Be more like Zoran Mamdani. Okay? Be less like Hakeem Jeffries or Cory Booker. We want more Cory Bush and less Cory Booker.
If you think your party has weak leaders, if you think your party can't get anything done, well, this is, I think, the real pressure facing Democrats at this particular point. Democrats who think their parties need major changes or more. Look at this. 57% of Democrats say their party needs major changes or more, compared to just 43% who say minor or no changes. Again, very different than the Republican Party, where 21% of Republicans, only 21% say their party needs major changes or more. Again,
Democrats look to those numbers and go, ooh, that means 21% of Republicans could be convinced to vote alongside the Democrat voting bloc. If only we just get more racist and more transphobic. Ooh, maybe we can get those guys on board. It's like, you're fucking stupid. You're dumb. You lost because of that stupid opinion that you have. You need to stop this. You need to stop this way of thinking right now. We do not have the time. Okay? We do not have the comforts. It is such an idiotic argument. And it's one that I keep having, even with some normie friends of mine with more conservative values or more liberal values as well, over and over again. Like, there are people out there, especially the more, if they have graduated from an institute of higher learning, like Ivy League or whatever, I have seen in my own experience the likelihood that they will demonstrate Ezra Klein style behavior. There's a higher likelihood that you're going to behave like Ezra Klein or take notes from the likes of Ezra Klein and assume that, like, this is rugged pragmatism, which simply leads to the American government ratcheting further and further to the right.
Hundreds of the U.S. military's top officers are in Virginia this morning to meet President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. It's a very unusual, maybe unprecedented, and possibly risky gathering. Nancy Cortez is at the White House to try to explain all of this. Nancy, good morning. So what do we know about this meeting?
Well, we know very little, Nate. The people who have been invited know very little. We do know this meeting is the first of its kind in modern memory. You've got generals and admirals, basically the entire top echelon of the military flying in without a clear understanding of why exactly they have been summoned. They are meeting at Quantico Marine Corps Base, about 35 miles south of Washington this morning. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called for the meeting, though military commanders were not given many details. They were just told to get here within days to hear him discuss his priorities. President Trump himself seemed unaware of the meeting when our Ed O'Keefe asked him about it last week. Then he said it's a great thing, and now it actually appears he plans to address the group as well. Of course, Democratic lawmakers have raised some security concerns here, with all of these military leaders leaving their posts at the same time and convening in one very well publicized spot. Not to mention the cost of flying all of them back to the D.C. area on short notice for what sounds like a pep talk. At least that's how President Trump described it over the weekend. He said it is simply a good chance to talk about how well the U.S. is doing militarily.
It was Pete's birthday. This is the only way they could get people to come. When you're not part of the minority on the chopping block, you're more likely to suggest the Democrats abandon them for the Republican voters. Okay, I understand this. Yes. Except it's not only ridiculous to suggest this, right, from your perspective of privilege, but it's also been a demonstrable failure thus far. That's the problem. Like, there is no good reason to do this. If you could present a solid argument, at least I would entertain it, and then I would talk about the morality of doing such things and how wrong that is, because, you know, that's not... There's a crisis in leadership, and we mustn't, you know, let go of marginalized communities. It's not purely for politics, all this stuff. But I don't even have to make the moral argument, right? This is, as I've said over and over again, just like the issue with Israel. Just as I kept repeating that initially, when it was tremendously unfavorable to speak out against Israel in the immediate aftermath of October 7, I said, no, this is still wrong, and I do know that people will inevitably realize that the asymmetry of violence in this circumstance makes Israel out to be the villain and not the people resisting against a settler colonial occupation and genocide, right? And I was right. Now, or even leading up to the election, I kept repeating over and over again that this wasn't just an issue of morality. It was also the pragmatic approach that Democrats approaching the subject matter from a partisan perspective was a good thing for them, would have been a good thing for them. It would have yielded a lot of tremendous higher approval ratings if they were to turn around and actually speak out against Israel at the time. But even now, even at this very moment, there are still fucking people that refuse to reckon with that reality. You're right all the time, but the I told you so game feeds the haters. Is that what you're saying? I know. But the I told you so isn't, the reason why I'm doing the I told you so moment here isn't to be like, oh, I'm so smart. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was right back then and people are still not listening to me right now. Do you understand? Well, I wouldn't even necessarily say the people aren't listening to me right now. The people are. The people who have no idea who the fuck I am also have arrived at the same conclusions, obviously, because they recognize right from wrong. You know you fucking suck when this loser is dunking on you. Oh, yeah, the selfie things need to stop, guys. Honestly, the Democrats were great at social media, but the social media moved on from them. The kitschy, goofy, choose your fighter type stuff needs to stop. Just serious. I mean, I can't believe they're getting dunked on correctly by Adam fucking Kinzinger of all people. Holy moly. That's crazy. That's madness.
Find out if there ends up being any more to it after the meeting happens this morning. Nate?
Nancy, thank you.
And that's why today, at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over.
By the way, the beardos thing is a direct shot against black people. A lot of people don't understand this, but this is a major point of contention for active duty service members that are black. A lot of people don't even recognize it unless you are either tapped in and you have friends who are veterans, who are black veterans, or just like this is an anti-black policy. The reason why the military in the past has allowed some members to not shave and have like hair standards that are a little bit looser is because a lot of black people, when they shave, get like significant, not like razor bumps. I forget what it's called. I think it's called like folliculitis or something. I don't know what it's called, but like they get shaving waivers. Okay. Because black hair is different. And for that reason, in order to boost the numbers, pseudofolliculitis barbae, doc here, pseudofolliculitis barbae. Yeah. It's like not regular razor burn though. It's like a serious fucking problem. So the reason why the military was like, all right, it's fine. We don't have like the same shave standards. You can get a waiver for it was for obviously people with religious reasons not to shave, like sick people or Muslims or specifically black people for the folliculitis mention that I just made. And a bunch of black service members were allowed to get these shaving waivers. So now he's like taking that out. But for those of you who don't know, this is like this initiative, revoking that shave waiver is actively shitting on.
Why aren't you clean shaven, Sergeant?
Oh, yeah,
so I'm not clean shaven because I do have a condition called pseudometiculitis. It's when your hair grows out and back into your skin, which causes your hair follicles to be more into your skin, causing your face to turn red and causing there to be bumps. There's usually rash, and this is more common in, African Americans because our hair is more kind of tightly woven hair that is thick and it's not as straight as other people's hair. It's a natural thing that happens.
And the Marine Corps has like waivers for it. They're called no-shave chits, right?
Yes.
If you have pseudometiculitis, you could still join the military. They have waivers and no-shave chits for it. Don't be afraid to, go to your recruiter or anything like that just because you can't shave. What's your favorite part about the military?
The cohesion.
Yeah. The beard policy thing is not about readiness. Like there is no, like, it's just the reason why they have the shave waivers is for that reason. I already explained it to you. That dude explained it as well. But the reason why you would revoke that, the reason why this is cap, by the way, no, the fuck is not. What do you mean this is cap? As an active duty service member who is black, there is no convincing other members that this administration is racist. I have a beard, and the amount of people that say I just want to abuse the system and that a beard is unprofessional is a lot of people. No, I thought you were saying like that. Okay, no, that makes sense. All right. The cohesion part is cap. I get it. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Like there is no the reason why they're taking away the waivers is just simply to say like fuck you if you're black and you're in the military, you're going to shave your fucking face no matter no matter what kind of complications, medical complications you can have.
No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession. I sincerely appreciate the proactive efforts the secretaries have already taken in some of those areas, service secretaries. And these directives...
Yeah, of course, spec ops still get to have beards, obviously, because they're cool and mostly white and also badass. They get to grow a badass beard because they're special operations, baby, special forces. Hoorah! Woo! That's right! Delta Force! Sorry, I get excited when I think about muscly men doing targeted assassinations overseas. Hell yeah, it gets my dick hard. They grow their beards and they look so fucking hot, I want to make out with them. Oh yeah, baby.
Are intended to simply accelerate those efforts. On the topic of standards, allow me a few words to talk about toxic leaders. Upholding and demanding high standards is not toxic.
Can we acknowledge Pete never made it past platoon leader in the fucking National Guard, brother? This motherfucker was in the National Guard, bro. And now he's the commander of the military. Bro, I swear to God, I think this is the most dangerous thing that this administration has done so far. Okay? Fomenting discontent within the highest ranks of the military. As a dude who was in the fucking National Guard, yelling at a bunch of generals who spent their entire fucking lives in the military, who who have so much respect for not only their own position, but so much reverence for the American military. Like, you know my take. I treat people as people. Some fucking vets are hogs. Some vets are great. Who cares, right? But like these guys, the dudes in that room, they spent their entire fucking lives and their livelihoods abiding by certain standards with a certain expectation of what the American military is supposed to represent. So when you get a fucking Fox News dipshit who was in the National Guard coming out demanding all the generals come back to Quantico and just talk about how no more beardos and all this other shit when they have no respect for you, I think it's probably one of the more dangerous things that this administration is doing. You don't have to be a student of history to know. You do not have to be a student of history to know the one group that you are not supposed to piss off is your fucking military. Okay? I'm just saying every day, we move closer and closer to Felix Biederman's idea of an officer's mutiny, a socialist junta. It probably won't happen. I'm obviously, it's just not a smart thing for these guys to do that. Okay?
Enforcing high standards, not toxic leadership. But today, at my direction, every member of the Joint Force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year. Every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our Joint Force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already. But we're codifying it. And we're not talking like hot yoga and stretching. Real hard PT, either as a unit or as an individual. At every level, from the Joint Chiefs to everyone in this room to the youngest private, leaders set the standard. And so many of you do this already. Active, Guard, and Reserve. This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. This is on duty in the field.
By the way, part of the reason why they have the shave waivers, what the fuck?
And in the
Where is that audio coming from? I don't even know where that's, what the fuck? Anyway, as I was saying, part of the reason why they have those like looser restrictions on PT is because one of the major crises that the American military broadly is experiencing is a crisis in recruitment numbers. In the absence of a 9/11 style incident, recruitment numbers have obviously fallen, regardless of the poverty draft that the American government has, right? Regardless of the fact that the military is seen as like one of the only ways where you can get the same kind of welfare and social assistance that you would get as a citizen in competent European governments. The military has experienced a severe crisis in recruitment. Okay, last time they saw big numbers obviously was 9/11 when people felt the call of duty, and I guess like with the imminent recession, recruitment numbers have ticked up. Not exactly great, but part of it's not exactly great for the future of America. I mean, but the reason why they had lowered standards, for example, and even offered like shave waivers and things like that, things that are irrelevant to standards and discipline, like letting black dudes in the military not shave because otherwise their fucking faces explode with blisters is perfectly normal, is perfectly valid. Okay? All of this stuff is just aesthetics. It's just aesthetic posturing from a guy who doesn't even understand the issues that the military currently has. Army vet here. Anyone who's been in the military knows someone like Pete who thinks he knows how the military should be, what standards should be upheld, and how to make the military better, except back then they were never put in charge of any serious operation, maybe cleaning brass from a range. This is kind of scary. I just don't think that this is going to lead to the positive results they thought they were going to get out of this this experience. I just don't think that lifelong career generals who many of them are fucking well-read too, are going to look at a DUI rapist shithead Fox News host and go, yeah, this is the guy who's commanding me. This is my Secretary of War. Fucking awesome.
If you want a beard, you can join Special Forces. If not, then shave. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans, but unfortunately we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable. War does not care if you're a man or a woman. Neither does the enemy. Nor does the weight of your rucksack, the size of an artillery round, or the body weight of a casualty on the battlefield who must be carried. This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. This is combat. This is life or death. As we all know, this is you versus...
Dude, this is literally the fantasy of, like, this is like having a couch guy run the military, okay? This is the opinion of a guy who never served from the outside. Like, not saying that he hasn't, he was in the National Guard, but, like, this is literally the areas where you see this kind of attitude most commonly represented are the fucking dudes who wear, like, the grunt force outfits, who are themselves fat as shit and never actually served or failed out of basic, right? And the guys who were like, oh man, I was gonna serve, but life had other priorities for me. But like, this is exactly what the military should represent. Yeah, like this is such a crazy thing to watch. It's such a fucking crazy thing to watch unfold. Yeah, baby, let's go. The military, we're bringing strength back to our soldiers, to our brave warriors, man.
An enemy hell-bent on killing you. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly.
What is this? And not a moment too soon. Women should not have ever been in combat roles if they can't meet the standards that men need to meet. Equality is downstream from life and death. This policy should be applied to police and firefighters as well. Bro, this is it. This is what I mean. It's like, this is for Asmongold and people exactly like Asmongold. That's who he's doing this for. This shit's going to piss off. I think this is going to piss off a lot of top brass. Okay. Women should not be in the military police force. I will die on this hill. My grandmother was a nurse in World War II. It's where she met my grandfather, who was a pilot. Women can provide value and service to the military, but that doesn't mean we should endanger lives pursuing the false god of equality by giving them lower standards for combat roles. Oh my God. Oh God. And Clean says, thank you. Ugh. Asmon couldn't even meet the standards of women. Yeah. I mean, he would be the first to say, oh yeah, that's why I'm not serving. That's why I'm serving my country by being a Twitch streamer.
Physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. You know, this is the only standard you would want for your kids and for your grandkids. So for the past 8 months, we've gotten a good look under the hood of our officer corps. We've done our best to thoroughly assess the human terrain.
Ooh.
We've had to make trade-offs and some difficult decisions. It's more of an art than a science. We have been and will continue to be judicious, but also expeditious. The new compass heading is clear. Out with the Shirellis, the Mackenzies, and the Millies, and in with the Stockdales, the Schwarzkopfs, and the Pattons. More leadership changes will be made, of that I'm certain. Not because we want to, but because we must. Once again, this is life and death. The sooner we have the right people, the sooner we can advance the right policies. Personnel is policy. But I look out at this group.
Why did they film this? Why do you think? Because this is not for the generals. This is for the general public. This is for the Asmongolds. This is for the couch potatoes who will never serve, but have developed this like false notion in their minds that the motherfucking US military has been brain broken by woke. These are the people who looked at Mark Milley, okay, saying, of course he's Red Mao. He must understand the enemy, and went, oh my God, he's a woke transgender, Marks Milley. We have to fire him. That's who this is for. These guys are so fucking stupid. They literally think that the American military was like running around being like, yeah, we just got to be woke now. We have to be woke. It's so fucking stupid. This one general's all of us during that rambling Trump speech. No, because he's a woke general. That's why he's like, no. Logs, I have a question. I literally disagree with everything this man has ever said, him and Trump, and I am with you on so many things, but what's the problem with having gender neutral physical tests? Genuine question. I don't even have an issue with the gender neutral tests or whatever. Ironically enough, I think the reason why they've lowered the standards for testing is literally because for certain positions you have gender neutral tests, for the record, number one. Number two, the reason why they've even lowered restrictions or lower standards is because they were facing a fucking recruitment crisis. Okay? That was it. That was the reason why they were lowering standards. Did you watch the Ben Shapiro video made about you yesterday encouraging violence? Guys like this only fucking live the world through drama, I think. No, man, I didn't respond to Ben Shabibo. Why the fuck would I respond to Ben Shabibo? Irrelevant. Who gives a shit about Ben Shabibo in the big 2025? They actually raised standards, but we still have recruitment issues. I don't know why. No, the reason why the standards were lowered initially was because of recruitment problems. But Pete Hegseth and many other fucking couch potatoes think that, armchair generals think that if they actually make the military strong in its optics, that more people will want to join or some shit.
And I see great Americans, leaders who have given decades to our great republic at great sacrifice to yourselves and to your families. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service.
Oh my God.
But I suspect, I know, the overwhelming majority of you feel the opposite. These words make your hearts full. You love the War Department because you love what you do, the profession of arms. You are hereby liberated to be an apolitical, hard-charging, no-nonsense, constitutional leader that you joined the military to be. Truth be told, for the most part, we don't need new standards. We just need to reestablish a culture where enforcing standards is possible. And that's why today, at my direction, I'm issuing new policies that will
Minimum score already didn't matter in many infantry units. If you didn't have at least 270 PT score in my unit, you were shitbag. I think the reason why these guys are doing this is twofold. Number one, it's to say, my way or the highway. You need to be loyal to the administration first and foremost, right? And the other reason is because they want to communicate to the rest of the country, like the military is hard-dicked again, you know, like it used to be or whatever. Ironically enough, the American military, when it was the most successful, was obviously when they had a mandatory draft and they did not have the same fucking standards at all, World War II. And ever since then, regardless of whether standards have increased or decreased, the American military has not really fought a war to win a war. They've fought a war to continue it so that the military-industrial complex makes more money. So do with that information what you will. But like I said, a lot of the back and forth here is purely for the optics, for the aesthetics, to make it seem as though these guys are, you know, working at the behest of a important cause to make the military strong again, that sort of thing. But I think it's a failure on both fronts because this kind of discontent will piss off some of the lifelong career generals. A lot of them, as a matter of fact, getting talked down by like a National Guard dipshit, a drunk rapist himself. And then the other ones, there will be rats who are loyal to the admin, who recognize that this is an opportunity for career advancement, and they'll start shanking one another. Okay? This will, ironically, I think, lower military readiness. But what do I know?
Overhaul the IG, EO, and MEO processes. I call it the no more walking on eggshells policy. We are liberating commanders and NCOs. We are liberating you. We are overhauling an inspector general process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. We're doing the same with the equal opportunity and military equal opportunity policies, the EO and MEO at our department. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, no more repeat complainants, no more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo, no more sidetracking careers, no more walking on eggshells. Of course, being a racist has been illegal in our formation since 1948. The same goes for sexual harassment.
Has the military abided by those standards? I don't know, man. I don't think so. But also, I feel like, especially on the sexual harassment and sexual violence front, that definitely doesn't feel like it's been the case. Rape stocks in the military skyrocketing. Also, where is he going to go from here? Let's see.
Both are wrong and illegal. Those kinds of infractions will be ruthlessly enforced. But telling someone to shave or get a haircut or to get in shape or to fix their uniform or to show up on time or to work hard, that's exactly the kind of discrimination we want. We are not civilians. You are not civilians. You are set apart for a distinct purpose. So we, as a department, need to stop acting and thinking like civilians and get back to basics and put the power back in the hands of commanders and NCOs. On the topic of standards, allow me a few words to talk about toxic leaders. Upholding and demanding high standards is not toxic. Enforcing high standards, not toxic leadership. Leading warfighters toward the goals of high, gender-neutral, and uncompromising standards in order to forge a cohesive, formidable, and lethal Department of War is not toxic. It is our duty, consistent with our constitutional oath. Real toxic leadership is endangering subordinates with low standards. Real toxic leadership is promoting people based on immutable characteristics or quotas instead of based on merit. Real toxic leadership is promoting destructive ideologies that are an anathema to the Constitution and the laws of nature and nature's God, as Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence. The definition of toxic has been turned upside down, and we're correcting that. That's why today, at my direction, we're undertaking a full review of the department's definitions of so-called toxic leadership, bullying, and hazing, to empower leaders to enforce.
Oh my God. So-called toxic leadership like bullying and hazing, we're bringing it back? What the fuck? Like, at what point did this not exist in the American military? Am I crazy? I feel like regardless of the standards, like this has always been the case, right? Very strange. Hold on.
Standards without fear of retribution or second guessing. Of course, you can't do like nasty bullying and hazing. We're talking about words like bullying and hazing and toxic. They've been weaponized and bastardized inside our formations, undercutting commanders and NCOs. No more. Setting, achieving, and maintaining high standards is what you all do. And if that makes me toxic, then so be it. But this does not mean, and this goes for all of us,
you know, there were big efforts to reduce abusive behaviors. I mean, effort or not, like a lot of the military standards are still fairly abusive. As a vet for basic training specifically, bullying, collective punishment, and smoking standards have softened, which I'm okay with. Well, they're back. The only thing toxic here is this fucking liver. Hasan, don't be a pussy, bro. Bully me. W.
Path to this auditorium on this day was a straight line, or that the conditions of the formations we lead are where we want them to be. You love your country, and we love this uniform, which is why we must do better. We just have to be honest. We have to say with our mouths what we see with our eyes, to just tell it like it is in plain English, to point out the obvious things right in front of us. That's what leaders must do. We cannot go another day without directly addressing the plank in our own eye, without addressing the problems in our own commands and in our own formations. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity
What is that
months,
buzzing?
DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship.
The fuck?
No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit. I've made it my mission to uproot the obvious distractions that made us less capable and less lethal. That said, the War Department requires the next step. Underneath the woke garbage is a deeper problem, and a more important problem that we are fixing and fixing fast. Common sense is back at the White House, so making the necessary changes is actually pretty straightforward. President Trump expects it. And the litmus test for these changes is pretty simple. Would I want my eldest son, who is 15 years old, eventually joining the types of formations that we are currently wielding? If in any way the answer to that is no, or even yes, but, then we're doing something wrong. Because my son is no more important than any other American citizen who dons the cloth of our nation. He is no more important than your son, all precious souls made in the image and likeness of God. Every parent deserves to know that their son or their daughter that joins our ranks is entering exactly the kind of unit that the Secretary of War would want his son to join.
And then I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military.
Ain't no fucking way, brother. Ain't no fucking way. We should use the dangerous cities as training grounds? Oh my Lord. Oh, the audio got even worse, by the way, which is crazy. But this is like fascist lunacy.
National Guard, but military.
We have breaking news. President Trump just made a major announcement. He wants more than just the National Guard deployed to some of the country's biggest cities like Chicago and Portland.
And he wants active military there to, quote, use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds. As you just heard, he later described what he sees in Portland.
Portland, Oregon, where it
Portland,
looks like
Oregon.
a war zone. And I get a call from the liberal governor. Sir, please don't come in. We don't need you. I said, well, unless they're playing false tapes, this looked like World War II anymore. But
now, he later claimed that he sent federal troops to Seattle to stop protests during his first term.
And so you look at some of the things where they took over parts of Seattle. They actually took over a big percentage of Seattle. Think of that. You remember that. That was a while ago. And I sent in the troops and they were gone.
The magazine reports federal officers were deployed to Seattle in 2020, but were quickly withdrawn. Some of our reporters on the ground said they never saw federal troops, only local police.
And the president just wrapped up that speech to military leaders in Virginia. It comes a day after our own state and city leaders sent a stern message to the White House, and they told the president to stay out of Seattle. Fox 13's Sean Chitness live at Seattle City Hall with more on the state's message to the White House. Sean, good morning.
Bill, good morning. And both the mayor of Seattle as well as Washington's attorney general making those comments together before what we just heard from the president and any clear sign that troops are actually coming to Seattle. But even with those most recent comments the president made, both of these leaders saying that they want to be prepared and sharing what they might be able to do to try and stop troops from arriving here, or at least fight that decision. So Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell explaining that he plans to release an executive order with actions the city can take if the Washington National Guard is mobilized. Attorney General Nick Brown says the state is ready to challenge the Trump administration in court, but couldn't say for sure who would have the final call on directing the National Guard, the governor or the president.
Seattle is certainly not war-ravaged, neither is Portland. We do not see anything happening here that would lead or generate an insurrection.
We do not need the federal government bringing in armored vehicles, semi-automatic weapons, military personnel to make, quote-unquote, us safer.
So hundreds of people protested the decision to send troops to Portland outside an ICE facility there. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi reacted to that demonstration by saying they were not peaceful but radical extremists, and that anyone who threatened or assaulted an officer would be charged federally. But Portland police said that the protest was peaceful and that they only made 2 arrests. President Trump announced over the weekend he was sending troops to Portland, which he called a war-ravaged city. He said they could use full force because ICE facilities are under siege by Antifa and domestic terrorists. So we have reached out to the Washington State Republican Party to see if they have any reaction to what the mayor and the attorney general said here. We're waiting to hear back from them. Live in Seattle, Sean Chitness, Fox 13 News.
Oh, this was one of the funnier moments that took place. This clip I was meaning to get to yesterday, but I simply did not have time to. It's pretty fucking awesome, if we're being real. Okay, hold on. This is why you should love our bikers. I do love bikers. I do. Nah, fuck cyclists. No, I love cyclists. Okay, especially when they do shit like this. This is cyclists using their power of being an unlimited nuisance for good. Okay, cyclists rise up. Cyclists rise up. They are using their power of annoying people for good. W rage bait. W cyclists. Everyone else is a fucking hater. Anyway, wait, there's a suspicious package at the TPUSA event in Utah. Jesus Christ. Okay. As a cyclist, we are only good to society and protest blocking traffic and being annoying to cops. Cars are way more annoying, Hasan. I mean, obviously, I'm Mr. Fuck Cars, okay? Champagne Cyclist says, let's go. This is your opportunity to shine. Anyway, this video is incredible because it demonstrates how unimaginably fat the Heil Titler Brigade is, okay? We don't have the Gestapo. We have the Fat Stapo. Straight up. It's fucking awesome. Here it is. So he walks up to him and he says, I'm elite. He says something along the lines of like, I'm not a U.S. citizen, really. Just agitating them. Okay. The Waffle SS. Yeah. Meal Team 6, baby. Rolls up on him. Says, fuck Donald Trump. He drops his iPhone. And then they start running in his direction. Hey, yo! I fucking love that, dude. That is awesome. Straight up. I mean, that could have been devastating. That could have been devastating for his aura. That would have been generational aura loss, okay? That is, let's be real, that is a risky predicament, okay? You are potentially experiencing generational aura loss if you fuck that up. If you fuck that up, you're absolutely cooked. And yet, he took the risk. He took the risk and he got a generational aura reward. Okay? Let's run that shit back. Respect gained. He drops his phone. One of the ICE agents, heavy risk, but the prize. Oh yeah, the prize. Scared money don't make money, lol. Yeah, here's a classic, you know. This one's so awesome. That one is so fat. I love that. This is combat readiness, ladies and gentlemen. Demonstrated. This is what happens when you don't have combat readiness for our brave troops. He rolled a crit. Legendary humiliation of a dozen raises hogs. No, it's fucking so good. It's the Jordans in Chicago gives him powers. Yeah, for sure. Bro dropped the phone like a fucking luchador. Dropping the red flag in front of the bull. You mean matador, right? Is that a luchador? I thought it was a matador. Oh, just so fucking fat, so out of shape, and so angry, dude. Oh my Lord. I've never in my life seen clumsiness be recycled like that into Matt Aura. Use us clumsy gang are the most impressive we've ever been. The man is a national hero. Yeah, Matador is bulls, luchador is wrestling. Exactly, I knew it right. All right. Also, remember, the reason why they're there is to create an environment of intimidation, okay? Like, that's the only reason why they're there. Here's some more details on this. Hold on. The whole mob tried to trace him down because he dared criticize Trump. You know, this is insane, right? A gang of armed thugs will attack random passerby because they don't like what they say. Like him being like, I'm undocumented, I'm not a U.S. citizen. He's fucking obviously trying to piss him off. He's like, I suspect that he is not actually undocumented. But once again, okay? I mean, look at this fucking freeze frame, dude. He's just poking the hogs, you know? He's just prodding them a little bit, saying, hey, what are you going to fucking do about it? What are you going to do about it? Tough titties, bitch. Oh, respect. Amazing. Amazing things are happening. High school took their knees in agility. Look at how he's running. Oh, man. We got them feral hogs in the streets. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Philip DeFranco including you in his latest show? What does that mean? Oh, my God. Look at them. And they try to surround him, too. And they... This one's awesome. Look at this one. Look at this one. Oh, huffing and puffing. Oh, so good. So awesome. Just shouts out to that guy. Okay. Shouts out to that guy for making us feel united in these troublesome times. Okay. For once, what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to fucking do? Gay man threatens. Oh yeah. I seen this as well. This gay man is threatening to out Mike Johnson with like his IP and everything. He's threatening to out Mike Johnson's Grindr account. Now I don't know if this is real or not, but I mean I'm willing to believe it. I'm in my head canon is real, but I think it's just more blue and on shit. Anyway, so congratulations to the brave warrior. Also, then after this was done, they still turned around and did their "We work for you." Okay, get the fuck out then. We don't want you to be there. This old racist Polish lady being like, thank you. Thank you for being here. Like, how is this in any way, shape, or form making anybody feel more secure? I see this and I think this is fascism. I look at this and I think this is a sign of insecurity, not a sign of security. I see this is a erosion of democracy, utilizing a unaccountable militarized force to basically kidnap our neighbors, because that's what it is. And it creates a lot of discontent. It creates a lot of resentment. And obviously, that's the reason why wherever these guys go, they get a lot of protesters. They get a lot of people that tell them directly to their face they don't want them there. You're in the new Philly D thumbnail.
Next up, products for Prime Day special. But the next up in the news today, it actually starts with a question, and that is, with how crazy things feel in America right now, are you afraid to go to large events in public? And connected to that question, we've seen political creators here and there canceling things individually, as well as big creators like Hassan Piker, Valkyrie, Cutie Cinderella, and others announcing that they're going to be skipping TwitchCon later this month over safety concerns. And the latest person to drop out was Hassan, who during a stream announced that he wasn't going to go to the event, and he fleshed out his reasoning.
I missed the social Hassan era. There is unfortunately an obvious setback there because of, one, all the political incidents that have taken place, and two, how those political incidents have had some pretty significant consequences in how much I can go out in the real world and socialize with other people. As I said already, I'm not going to TwitchCon, not because I'm worried about my own safety, but I'm literally not going to TwitchCon because I'm worried about the safety of others. I don't want to put them in the fucking crosshairs if some psycho freak decides, like, I'm going to go there. I'm very publicly not going to TwitchCon for that reason.
Right, and that decision, it came after Valkyrie and Cutie Cinderella made it very clear over the last 2 weeks that they would also not be attending the event, with their initial thoughts popping up on their podcast Whine About It.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I've been so anxious and scared and sad this whole past week with everything that's been going on for multitude
Whine
of
About It
reasons
mention.
that I told Cutie, I was like, I'm kind of afraid to go to TwitchCon.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a conundrum with TwitchCon. We may... Listen, it's not, I have...
It's not you, it's us.
It's not you, it's us. I have told, because we're supposed to do Whine About It live at TwitchCon. Love Twitch for supporting our show. I have given them a soft, hey, we're in a bit of a panic mode right now.
Will we ever stop panicking?
That's the problem. I don't know if
think
we're
we
being
will.
because I don't feel, the problem is right now, I don't feel irrational about it. I feel very...
I think it's valid.
Scared.
Yeah, it just takes one person.
Your stalkers are so upset about you not going, lol. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it online. A lot of people, it went viral on Twitter, and a lot of people basically demonstrated exactly why I was making this decision. Like, it was pretty crazy to see. The thing is, like, with TwitchCon, like, I'm still gonna do public events. Like, I'm obviously gonna be out and about in France and whatnot. And I've always been careful not to like reveal whatever public thing I'm doing ahead of time for a multitude of different reasons. But as far as like a major event where I would be one of the headliners and like very publicly saying that I'm going, like TwitchCon, I think that it's just there's too many variables. There are too many variables at play, and it doesn't make sense to put other people in the crosshairs, so to speak. No one, I'm not trying to make a double entendre here, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to risk other people.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they go on to mention Ari Sato, who was a Japanese live streamer that was stabbed to death in the middle of a stream by someone local media called an anti-fan. With things like that, as well as the killing of Charlie Kirk and politicians, it's obviously been at the front of a lot of people's minds, which led to Valkyrie saying last week,
I'm just really uncomfortable with the world right now. Just so you guys know, Cutie and I are not going to TwitchCon anymore. We did back out. America is in a weird spot. Weird things are happening, and it's just, I don't feel safe. I open up, see the news, and then I'm like, holy moly, what is happening?
And in general, there was a sentiment that there's a big overlap of people who hate watch streamers and those who are extremely politically active on platforms like Twitter. And here's how Pokimane put it last week.
Here's the way I view it, especially with all the recent news surrounding Charlie Kirk. And of course, a lot of political talk happens on Twitter. And also for us, people like me, Ray, Cutie, other female streamers, the people who feel the most negative and most like passionately hateful.
Yeah, this is also the other side of it is like there's always a permanent environment of insecurity for female streamers in general because they have like a shit ton of stalkers. And given the way that this kind of activity is conducted online, there's not a lot of great current efforts to create an environment of security. Like there's not really much you can do about cyber stalking and like this kind of shit. So it makes perfect sense for a lot of these people to feel even less safe in this environment, you know?
Towards us also tend to be on Twitter, and the streaming and Twitter community just have a lot of overlap. So sometimes it's just scary. And when you see that kind of negativity, you're like, do I want to tell people where I'm going to be in person? I actually don't know. Don't really like using Twitter too much because I don't. When I look at the replies, I'm like, who are these people talking to? I sure as hell don't think it's me. Like, I'm like, you guys are not my community. How do you even know me? Or you post a selfie, people start losing their shit.
Right, and with that, you had people saying, you can just look to the replies to the news that Valkyrie and QT weren't going to see the overlap. Or with people posting things like, makes sense, dating Hasan puts a huge target on your back because he supports terrorists and call for violence on others. Twitch should ban him. With that appearing to be in reference to claims that Valkyrie and Hasan are dating. Right, and while I don't care or know if that's true, I guess what matters is that the perception is that they are, and it puts her in danger. We also have others like streamer Tectone, who's recently become extremely vocal about culture and politics, seeming to use the opportunity to push the narrative that all the recent shooters are left-leaning and figures like Hasan are to blame. In reaction to Hasan not going to TwitchCon, he wrote, Hasan, you're the one who's causing these consequences the most out of any streamer on the planet.
Tectone talking like a fucking school shooter is so crazy because like he literally is like, now you're too afraid to show face after saying everyone was overreacting. What a lying bitch pussy made, in air quotes, man. And it's like, dude, why are you talking like if I go to TwitchCon, you're the one who's going to try and shoot me? Like, what the fuck is this dork doing? He tweets about you all the time. I mean, he should, I'm glad that there's something keeping him busy, and he's not like harassing like a random trans content creator or a random woman on the internet. I'll take that. I'll shoulder that for everybody else. Didn't you destroy this man in basketball when he was, when I did the OTK thing? Yes, I did. The answer to your question is yes, I did do that. So please come to school tomorrow posting. Yeah.
Platform. Hasan and people like Hasan have been pushing violent rhetoric and supporting terrorists for years. He knows the dangers he has caused for others. He's now too afraid to face the very beast he's created. And along with
bro went to the LA riots, but TwitchCon is too much for him. Yeah, exactly. It goes to show that obviously for me, it's not a matter of my own fucking safety. It's a matter of the safety of others. And also, what do you mean you created this beast? it's ironic because this is quite literally part of the reason why I think like some dumb fuck who's a Rape Tone fan is going to take matters in their own hands because they're like, oh, I know Hasan is going to TwitchCon. I'm going to fucking make a name for myself. And then accidentally end up shooting a bunch of other fucking people that are attending TwitchCon. That's the reason why I'm not going. How are people blaming you for your own stalking and death threats? I mean, this is proof as to why, it doesn't make sense for me to fucking go to TwitchCon. This is like the whole point. This is literally the reason. Like, what kind of fucking statement is this? And it's such a crazy situation because, like, I have to make a public statement about it so that, I discourage psychos from fucking attending. And meanwhile, I'm making a public statement about it, making it clear that it's not about even my own personal safety, but the safety of others because of people like Tectone, okay? Because of this kind of sentiment that you hear all over the internet. If you look at my fucking replies, you see it, right? So many people are just like, oh, I can't wait for the government to deport you, arrest you. I'm going to come and shoot you in the fucking head, shit like that. But like, obviously, if the sea of death threats, obviously if the sea of death threats discouraged me, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, right? You can't, I have a policy of not letting fear guide my life or guide my commentary. Having said that, even the additional, statement here shows that it's not about my own personal safety necessarily, but the safety of others.
A number of people mocking the idea that Hasan was comfortable going to a protest, which inherently have a level of risk, and now
this guy LARPs as a revolutionary but wants to stay home during TwitchCon so we can stream and make more money. A tale as old as time, says Destiny. Oh, once again, I don't even LARP as a revolutionary. I'm a fucking Twitch streamer. This is a statement that my haters have applied to me. Once again, they are setting the standards that they made up for me on their own, in their own minds, only to turn around and say, you're not abiding by those standards. But once again, TwitchCon is the revolutionary activity that I should be engaging in.
doesn't want to go to TwitchCon. So then with that, you had others pushing back a counterpoint saying that things have dramatically changed in America since then, as well as the fact that Hasan says that he's doing this to protect his fans. But no matter where you stand on this, what you're seeing is Twitch trying to reassure people that the event will be perfectly safe, with CEO Dan Clancy saying on a live stream,
just in terms of safety and security at TwitchCon in light of recent events.
Yeah, I've been shot at fucking ICE protests, man. The fuck are we talking about? Also, Philip DeFranco literally posted the idiotic take from a dude who is not only in the crosshairs himself currently, but also someone who Philip DeFranco personally covered, issuing a death threat against me literally a week prior to this. Like, Sex Pestany unironically said a straightforward death threat, issued a straightforward death threat to me directly, and Philip DeFranco covered it. That was like, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? I mean, yeah, it's just so stupid. So, in any case, as I've made clear, this is one of the more high-profile, large events that I would be a part of. The Epstein take is the top threat on LSF, by the way, posted by the guy that was in here a week or two ago screeching at you, who regularly posts threats on you on LSF. These cultists are the worst. I mean, they got no motion. That's why they're doing it. They're chirping into the fucking wild. They are trying to do their very best to smear, to slander, to professionally misunderstand the point I was making. It is what it is. They got no motion overall. They just have like their own little echo chambers on the internet where they just screech into the fucking wind over and over again. There are obviously much larger issues at play here. And I think a lot of people, when they realize what the government is doing, what the administration is doing, what things look like in the fucking real world, will inevitably notice that these guys are just simply fighting the wrong battles. Okay? That's it. Like, even their audiences will eventually recognize, like, why are we fucking yelling at this dude? Even in this very moment. Like, why are we doing that? There's fucking active military on the streets of the United States of America in our neighborhoods, and I'm over here fucking yelling about some random Twitch streamer. It's stupid.
and now he doesn't want to go to TwitchCon. So then with that, you had others pushing back a counterpoint saying that things have dramatically changed in America since then, as well as the fact that Hasan says that he's doing this to protect his fans. But no matter where you stand on this, what you're seeing is Twitch trying to reassure people that the event will be perfectly safe, with CEO Dan Clancy saying on a live stream,
just in terms of safety and security at TwitchCon in light of recent events. So I want to be very clear. We take security at our events like TwitchCon extremely seriously. Every year, we build on a successful approach to TwitchCon safety and security, particularly as we become aware of new or emerging security or safety challenges. So we have teams focused on this year round.
With Clancy then going on to add how they limit who can attend and try to force attendees to behave appropriately with agreements in place when you buy a ticket. Or with that, as you had big community figures like Asmon Gold not buying that. Or with Asmon pointing to an incident that happened last year at TwitchCon, writing, last year, NMP, Lol, and Wake were sexually assaulted by a streamer, and Twitch didn't press charges or pursue any form of legal action against him. If I was a woman, I would never go to TwitchCon. But with all that said, as this whole situation continues to develop, I'd really love to know your thoughts and reactions here. Because one is, do you feel safe in public? Do you feel safe in public going to any sort of these events? And then also, if you were a public figure at all, like, would you be making appearances at events like TwitchCon or maybe some sort of political conference? Where's your head at right now? I'd love to hear from you. But then next up in the news, Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu have agreed on a plan for Gaza. And if
the streamer was also harassing other people before they assaulted Nick and Wake, yeah. On the other hand, we have Hasan saying he doesn't want to endanger people. On the other side, we have a random Twitter user, a sex pest, and a rapist. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I mean, that's the Philip DeFranco guarantee. Okay, he's gonna cover it like that, no matter what. It is what it is. It was classic. These captions were edited by someone in the team. They write your name as Hasan. No, guys, come on. You're focusing on the wrong shit.
Hamas.
Okay, you've just been filled in, all right? Why do you think everyone just completely forgot that D is a pedo? I know LSF is deleting comments about that, but it's crazy. I think in this day and age, there's too many things to focus on, and people just don't give a shit, I guess. It is what it is. I don't know if they've forgotten. I think many people don't even know, because it doesn't actually reach... like, if Sex Destiny had the same, like, dedicated cyber stalking team that he represents for someone like myself, I think anywhere and everywhere he went, people would be anywhere and everywhere where he went, people would be relitigating that over and over again. But I do think that there's also a broader issue here with just people demonstrating horrible behavior in general, with very few repercussions for it, from Dr. Kids Inspect all the way down to Sex Destiny. I think a lot of people just don't give a shit. You know, I mean, look at fucking Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth himself is the fucking Secretary of War. There's an environment of protection around people who behave like this. It's just, it is what it is, you know? It's kind of like the Trump effect, if you want to call it that. Yeah. There's a couple things I wanted to cover here. Obviously, I got here, we'll do the Amon, the Legend of Ethan Klein from Amon Animation. This was a big... a big deal for many in this community, for the unemployed. I mean, shouts out to Amon. Obviously, I'm a fan of his work. Let's take a look.
We are being sued for copyright infringement, and it's been hanging over our lives like a cloud these past months.
Yeah.
We are being sued by Bold Guy, aka Matt Haas Zone. We did our thing and we made a reaction video about him on our second channel, Ethan and Eli. And I think the heart and soul of this is like that he doesn't like that we made fun of him, and so he's suing us.
Wow, Ethan, great move. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Oh, hi there. It's me, your old friend, Ethan Klein. It's been a while since we've last spoken. In that time, I've had 3 kids, all boys. I've lost 100 pounds, and I've pissed off 75% of the internet. Probably a lot of you guys too. I started a show a couple of years ago with my acquaintance, Hassan Piker, the Leftovers podcast, which we made broadly.
Okay, bro. Really? Why am I catching strays again, bro? Amon, stop presenting me like I have a tiny head, okay? I do not have a tiny head. I have a normal-sized head. This is bullshit. Okay, this is bullshit. I have a normal size head. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows I have the best head size that has ever existed in the history from the standpoint of sizes. I've got the best sized head. I'm suing him.
To goof on the antics of the right. And we went on making the show for about 2 years and everything was good. Everyone was having fun, the audience was having fun, no problem. That was until this happened. From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye. And over time, I started to learn that my co-host, he really likes terrorists. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
I can't believe how unimaginably racist the presentation of this real context puke was, and how many fucking people actually fell for it too. Like, if the number is more than one person that watched that and went, you know what, this is scary, that is really damaging for where we're at, okay? That is really, really damaging for where we're at in society. So, I mean, there obviously it wasn't like a super consequential thing. Having said that, however, it did hurt my soul to see so many white liberals think like, no, this man is the true voice for the Palestinian liberation movement, and this other scary Muslim guy seemingly loves terrorism. It just goes to show how clip chimps affect discourse. I mean, not really. You mean damning? Well, damning, yes, not damaging. You're right. It was so crazy because that whole video was deep fried and mostly unintelligible. I saw a thread on their subreddit about how someone casually showed it their group of friends. Slowly but surely, they started seeing that you were a terrorist. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they unironically think that this, like, very obvious targeted smear campaign, especially in this day and age when, like, most people have actually realized that I was advocating for what they also now see as the truth. It's crazy that there are still people who go like, I'm pro-Palestine, but honestly, like, this Hassan guy who was there from the start was actually doing it in the wrong way. If only he was doing it in the right way, then things would be different. And the right way would be if I guess, was saying what I was saying, but also wasn't Muslim and my name wasn't Hassan. I guess that would be the right way to do it, right? Because, like, he's done this kind of shit to all of his naysayers, but obviously it has like a way less successful approach when it's like Sam Cedar. When he calls Sam Cedar a token Jew, most people, even in his audience, were like, okay, dude, calm down. Or when he does this with like Matt Lieb, right? Like when he tries to hit people in the same with the same fucking rhetoric, when he tries to do that to like Jewish people, obviously more people look at that and go, I don't know about this, right? To be fair, saying shit like Houthis are very musical people are kind of cringe. I know, I should have been saying that Houthis were actually demonstrating the only fucking dignified response by being the only country in the fucking region that actually stood up against the genocidal apartheid regime of Israel, instead of saying that they were musical people. Do you think that was my only commentary about the Ansar Allah regime? Do you still have this level of resentment towards that statement? Are you fucking delusional to what has happened since then? Yeah, they are following the standards set by the West in terms of international rules, okay? They are the only ones who are seemingly abiding by the idea that genocide is unacceptable, and the entity that is causing this genocide must at the very least, suffer financial repercussions. Go ahead. And yes, many countries in the region, not just Yemen, do make musicals. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I'm not ashamed of what I've said. I don't give a fuck. I don't think it's cringe at all. Come on, go ahead. Talk to me. Talk to me. What do you have to say?
And then I had a terrifying vision. Had I been duped? Was Hassan presenting a Trojan horse to my community, where he was just a left-leaning Democrat like myself, and as he said in the previous video, was funneling them into radicalization and turning them against me?
Liberals are some of the easiest to manipulate people on the fucking planet, dude. The irony of this clip compilation aspect, by the way, was me talking about how liberals get duped by Republicans. Think about that for a second. I addressed all of this, obviously, when I was doing the dismantling and the disarming of the context puke.
I learned how much he hates liberals.
Dude, I hate liberals, dude. I hate them. I hate them so viciously.
Did he secretly despise me this whole time?
I'm sorry, dude. I hate liberals so much.
Did this man sit next to me for 2 years and pretend to be my friend? What else is someone this sociopathic capable of?
Liberals are some of the easiest to manipulate people on the fucking planet.
Was I being manipulated this whole time?
Hello, everybody. This is Ethan Klein, host of the H3 Show. All right, so obviously I'm about to have a really uncomfortable conversation about Hasan. And, you know, I wanted to do a really fun episode about Twilight today, but blame it on the anti-Semites. The openness and brazenness with anti-Semitism has left me no choice. I have no choice. But I'm hallucinating, according to Hasan. Well, let's see if I'm hallucinating. The big story breaking right now is that since October 7th, Twitch has blocked the entire country of Israel from making new accounts. Secretly, silently, no statement, no explanation.
Yes. It turns out he was hallucinating that. For those of you who don't know, that was quite literally a hallucination.
Has blocked an entire fucking country. How does that happen? The word Israel is considered a invalid word when you're trying to make an account. User from Israel.
You know what?
But hold on. Before you answer.
Yeah.
But why does then both Palestine and Hamas are acceptable? This guy's name is I Love Hamas 123, that word. Yeah, well, apparently that's dope. In Hasan, it's by Hasan, and in his community, I Love Hamas 123 is just another member of his community. I'm being real. It's just way too many coincidences. Hasan is on the homepage of that website every time I go there.
He's the most viewed live streamer live right now.
Yeah, because they keep putting him at the top fucking page every day.
Yeah, but yeah.
And what's crazy is there's nobody on the entire platform to call him out. Nobody. They've all been banned. Nobody. There's no.
Well, thank God there were people. Asmongold, for the record. There are people. Asmongold.
Not a single dissenting voice with his fucking straight up radical
Oh, by the way, all of these clips are real. Obviously, they're real things that Ethan has said that he's just, as Amon does. Like, none of this is like AI or anything. This is all real fucking statements that he's made. He's just obviously making the images.
American, anti-Semitic, fucking pro-China, pro-Russia, pro-terrorism takes. This is fringe, psychotic shit that is not normal. And it is the only acceptable voice on Twitch. Explain that to me. How is there not one dissenting voice on that entire platform?
Snails are kind of doing the thing that people meme about, like docking penises, basically.
I don't know what that means.
Docking, when two guys get together and like one has a circumcised penis and the other one doesn't, and then the non-circumcised penis you like put into the circumcised penis, basically. Like you unfold the uncircumcised part of the penis, like the tip, and then you put the circumcised penis in it like this, like a spaceship docking.
And they just touch? It's not
Yeah,
like...
it's kind of like that.
Is that sexual or is that just a joke?
I don't know.
I don't think that it's like that at all.
This is Nazi shit! S-tier race? Are you fucking kidding me? And they're trying to run defense. Hasan and all these fucking people are running defense for this shit. I have spent every waking moment on this project.
Except for when you take care of your kids, right?
I don't think Hasan knows what's coming. I feel it might be one of the best takedown videos of all time. It's coming together, but I've never been faced with such a daunting task. I find myself overwhelmed with the quantity of footage, and I have tried everything to avoid
7, 6,
launching this nuclear
5,
bomb.
4.
But Hasan has
3,
continually provoked
2,
me
1,
and forced my
0.
hand.
Are you going to be watching Ethan's content nuke? The answer is, of course not.
The title of the show is Hasan and Goons Are Evil, Cowardly Liars. Now, I, once again, am looking to not, to move on past it. Yeah, I'm just going to get into the Hasan stuff. This is the result of Hasan's activism. Hasan Piker, Hasan, propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter. Hasan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself.
I want to think about that, man.
Think about it. Hasan dropped new merch today, guys. What a dumb, cringy fucking tryhard. Please, can we just all point and make a circle around him and point?
Okay, I didn't see how hard he was going. Like, I just saw every now and then the Instagram stories, and I didn't know the magnitude of the story posting until it was presented to me. And it was so insane that even in our debate, if you can call it that, he couldn't believe it. He was like, "You're lying. You must be lying." And then he couldn't comprehend that it was the truth. I don't get how this level of obsession was not read by fans of the show, and perhaps even former fans of mine that were still fans of Ethan, as anything but like an unhealthy obsession. How do you look at this and go, this is normal behavior? I love that. I guess there's the reason why his view count just fucking plummeted over the course of the last year. And then he just ended up picking up like a bunch of hanger-ons that also were excited at the prospect of like that fuck Hasan, that juicy, delicious fuck Hasan content.
And laugh. Can we please just fucking point and laugh at him? And why is this? Why do we allow this? This should be illegal, and nobody cares. Somebody, please! It's insanely pathetic.
I'm about to hit Celestial, Nate. Where you at?
Celestial?
Yeah.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
That's what it's called, right? The one after Grandmaster.
All right, where were we? I wanted to say that Hasan is the human embodiment of the Che Guevara shirt sold at Hot Topic. He is that personified.
Were you thinking about that in the bathroom?
I did. Yeah. I would love to open the stream, but I think things are too contentious. The hallucinations start to feel a lot more real. Whoa.
Oh, I can't wait. They're going to say this is the most anti-Semitic. They're going to say this is anti-Semitic, I suspect.
It's a little catty and weird, considering I feel like our
it's even crazier that these are real clips, bro. That is fucking nutty. That is nutty.
Conflict at this point runs so deep, but I'm gonna pull it up anyway. I'm just
out of context would be to talk to me face to face instead of just watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, that's what I'm. Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Come on, Ethan, wake up.
Oh my God, it's Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
That is not anti-Semitism. The fact of the matter is this conflation is dangerous for Jews. It is a way of weaponizing anti-Semitism that has enabled Donald Trump to do the shit he's doing, that has enabled the slaughter of thousands upon thousands of children and women and men for that matter. And this type of conflation, Ethan, is what I find far more irresponsible, frankly.
Talking when two guys get together and like one has a certain size penis.
And I hope people bear in mind, never forget, as this war rages on, just remember why I'm doing this. Because every one of you motherfuckers that I said I'm coming for, that I hold responsible, guess what? It's only a matter of time. I can't wait for videos crying, Ethan's suing me, Ethan's stalking me, Ethan's all this. Yup! I'm doing all that! Here's the thing, Anissa and Ian. I just want you to know, I want you guys to know something. Look at me. This is me. I win, you lose. And you will continue to lose, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not done. I'll never be done. I will never be done with you. That's how much you've betrayed me and how much I want you to know how much you lose and I win. Do you understand, Anissa? And I'm not even talking to iDubbbz anymore. He's insignificant. He's gone. I want you to understand.
Hello there. It's been some time, hasn't it? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see some behind-the-scenes videos and tutorials for just $1 or $2, be sure to check out my Patreon linked below. Let me quickly thank my top patrons. S.E. J. Nero, M. Kindtuff, Eagle Senator, Ben Masters, Noam Stomsky, Hunter Fernandez, Dennis,
Scroll up to see the top
Alfred
donor at the right.
Chima Gay, Uncle Dave, Summer 13, The Irony Giants, Curio, Dark Sunshine, Overa, Dan F, Ferrars, Tom Servo 5, Saddle 88, Jerkwad Jerk Squad, Seth Baker, Milton Friedman, Carl Sagan Deluxe, Dystopia, Weregamer, Gustavo Aguiar, Holland Randall, Luke Stein, Kaylee Vision, Scry Gordons, Randalino, KH, CHB, Brandon Scott. No need for talks.
If I could go back in time, what would I do differently with respect to leftovers? I would have never done it. 100%.
The real world events ended up outpacing me beyond what I ever anticipated.
I would have never done it.
As a result, I will be making a big video on Trump, Elon, Epstein, and everything else that happened this year as my next big project. I may make more than just that, but that's the plan. It's been 4
caused
years now since Sam
untold amounts, incalculable amounts of harm.
Helped me raise funds to get a powerful computer. To this day, I am deeply grateful for your help. It changed my life, and I'll keep going as long as I can.
It doesn't
my
matter,
power
man.
has finally been restored. So thank you all.
I know there's plenty of people here that found me through leftovers, but it has caused incalculable amounts of harm, drew the ire and anger and resentment of a person who, no matter what the cost was to his mental health, his sanity, or even his own finances, he has unleashed a torrent of hatred, Islamophobia. He has caused unimaginable harm, not just to myself, which, his impact on someone like myself has been limited, but untold amounts of harm to people that were simply in the crosshairs because of their loose association with me. It's just, he is such a vindictive person. I really, 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 it's a nightmare scenario for all of those involved. I mean, think about Casey Tron, Frogan, Rafi, all of the people that are a part of Denims, all the people that are a part of the enemies list that they concocted and attacked so viciously. With Casey Tron, I don't even have an association with Casey Tron. It just stems from the fact that he was collaborating with Destiny at the time, and Destiny fucking hates Casey Tron. Yeah, going after Cutie, going after so many fucking people, went after the entire platform that I'm on. And still to this day, I think, goes after the platform aggressively, goes after Mike, went after Sean the Black. Anyone and anyone who is even remotely associated with me or represents my ideological predisposition, like a goddamn lunatic, like a heat-seeking missile, he has just relentlessly fucking went after them. Ian and Anissa, I get that he feels as though his cause is just, but it's just when you have unlimited funds and you have one of the most fragile egos, you just create this environment of harassment. Taylor Lorenz, there are so many people. There are too many people to mention, dude. People in the chat are talking about all of these people that I haven't even brought up. Caroline, yeah, Kat Timbarge. I didn't really think about how much Ethan Klein's content revolves around ordained enemies, designated enemies of the show, and how much of it is basically cyber stalking and snark, ironically enough. I mean, yeah, he threatened to sue random anonymous Redditors, man, former fans of his. Go to 1336 in the video. Look at his top donor. Is it Ethan Klein? Because I think he had at a certain point. Yep. Thank you, donors, Ethan Klein. He's lost producers in the process. It's just nothing seems to stop him. And all of this, the irony, of course, is that all of this could have been avoided if he just wasn't if he just didn't take it personally that people were responding to his output. And if you just listened to his, at the time, friend and podcast co-host who had his best interest in mind. Ethan subpoenaed Reddit for the identity of mods of multiple subreddits. Reddit moved to quash it. Yeah, Noah Sampson. And now when all is said and done, he's trying to do reputation laundering. And, I love a good story of rehabilitation. I just don't think this is an earnest attempt here. But even if he were to present himself as an earnest attempt, he could win a lot of goodwill by just dropping his pursuit. Chris Kunzler, Vanilla Mace, Oh my Lord. In your estimation, is there anything that could encourage him to drop the lawsuits at this point? No, I don't think so, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would do it. I mean, if this didn't do it, like, because this video is a bunch of real moments from his fucking, a bunch of real moments from his broadcast. Like, it's just, I guess maybe like tuning out and going to therapy would probably be helpful, but I don't know. I mean, anything I say, he's going to see as like a slight against him, a slight against his personality, because he just has it in his mind that he has this righteous cause that he's pursuing. Anyway, also, the help out any of the individuals Ethan is suing here, Frogan, Case-Tron, and Denims' GoFundMe's he added in the description. Unfortunately, Ethan is surrounded by enablers. No, I don't. That's not the fucking. Come on. Don't take away any of the responsibility away from him. He's 40 years old. He's a 40-year-old man. He's got kids. You know what I mean? Like, this is his own goddamn decision. He's a grown man. He's not a baby. He's not a child. He's doing this on his own. Why does Reddit have an obsession of finding old clips of you and framing the narrative around it to make you look bad? It's just the only fucking tool that they have at their tool belt, at their disposal. Especially when things are much older. It's harder to explain the surrounding context. That's why they do it. There are a lot of content creators who have this level of obsession. It's mad weird they're working overtime. I know there are a lot of content creators who have this level of obsession with what I've done so far, and they have audiences filled to the brim with sycophants, jobless people. There's an entire industrial hate complex that is designed around, for free, trying to actively engage in some kind of smearing operation. And even though it doesn't work, because like it ends up causing people to, for every 5 people that see those clips out of context, there are usually like 2 to 3, in my experience, that come in here to see if there's any veracity to this framing. And then those people realize that this is actually a smear job. And then they realize that they've been duped. So it is what it is. The only thing you can do in this situation is just to keep pushing and keep advocating for the values that you believe. Did the view count go down? I don't think so. What do you mean? Veracity means truthfulness. There are a lot that do not check if your haters say is a lie or not. I know. But in my experience, what I have realized is that over the course of history, as long as I continue advocating for the things that I believe in, people, even if they have a negative association with me due to the endless amounts of negatively framed clips that they've seen, will accidentally watch a take of mine that they actually appreciate. And then their journey of learning about what I actually was representing starts at that moment. This is what I have seen. Like there are a lot of people who will be like, I fucking hate this guy, right? I fucking hate this guy. I've seen so many bad clips of him, right? And I don't expect them to like tune into a broadcast or anything, but there are so many issues that I speak on where eventually they land on one that they care about personally, and then they realize that maybe they were misguided, duped by people. I see it all the time. I see it happening all the fucking time. My cousin just told me Sunday how he was wrong about you and agrees with you a lot more than he thought. Being an Asmongold viewer, lol. Yeah. I just feel like the internet doesn't really facilitate this kind of genuine reflection and change. Yes, it doesn't. But it also doesn't matter, because there's always going to be people that fucking hate you. There's nothing you can do about it, especially when you have a very dedicated audience of haters that are working all the time, working in real time, every single moment, actively trying to present your worldview as bad or silly, actively trying to present you as a hypocrite, and leaning on pre-existing stereotypes as well. Leaning on pre-existing stereotypes like Islamophobia or false notions and false understandings of what socialism is meant to represent. And if the broader audience of Americans already have that mindset, then they are much easier to dupe. All you can do all you can do is just keep pushing. It is what it is, you know? Your haters are really weird and vicious. I've seen multiple medium-sized streamers that are in those stages of trying to appeal to their chat's vibes, and every time they see you in a video, for example, your haters in the chat would immediately spam the chat with how much they hate you, so that streamer wouldn't ever engage or watch anything with you. It's crazy. I know. It is what it is. You only do that if you have no worldview, if you have no design, if you have no plans for a better future. So all you do is just like sit around and try to take out those who you have declared enemies of yourself. It is what it is. Anyway, I have to leave because I have to fly out to France for GP Explorer. But that's all I got for today. Like I said, I had a short stream lined up. Okay, literally a half day Hasi, as I've told you. Tomorrow when I'm live, I will be live from France. I'm planning on potentially participating in a protest in France as well. Maybe some IRL streams when I'm out there with Jean-Luc Mélenchon or some others. And yeah, and then in the weekend, I'm going to be doing my regular news coverage from France, as I've always done. But on the weekend, I am going to be live broadcasting as the English broadcast alongside Pokimane, GP Explorer. Myself and Pokimane will be the English broadcasters on the weekend for GP Explorer. So that's going to be an exciting opportunity. It's going to be an incredible event that a lot of people will be watching, of course. And I'll be live at the regular time that I normally will be live at. But for the GP Explorer event, I'll obviously be live earlier. So yeah. Anyway, as always, love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow from France. Vive la France.
Hey, I'm just doing this to sound like Bo Burnham in the beginning.
Okay.
I'm chillaxing the chat, so hi.
Le peace.
Stunning lo-fi introduction, starting off the day. All the chatter's trickling in, hostile people hate. Sunny Los Angeles, California, says Hasan. The stun lock to the stun lock to the topic that's just begun. There he is again, Hasan is streaming, Hasan is streaming. There he is again, Hasan is streaming, Hasan is streaming. Reviewing the P.O. box, Uncle Euger's face. Sudden discord agitprop, gray names take on race. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. The whole left at your fingertips, and Anye out your door. The H3 Crowder debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, and plenty more to go. 90-day fiance, talks of champagne bourgeoisie. A Trump rally live reaction, a mass riot in DC. There he is again, Hasan is streaming, Hasan is streaming. There he is again, Hasan is streaming, Hasan is streaming. Reading live stream fail comments, Austin show chat advice. In all the ways the right-wing pipeline can suck you in online. JCS react lord, frame gets broken, cover blown. A full-blown mass pandemic, months of streaming in your home. Total radicalization coming out to find the system you were taught to trust in was broken.